What is up, football fans? Welcome to Benzinga's after party stream event where we will be breaking down all of the picks as they happen. They're happening right behind me. You can see we've got like 100,000 people out there in the streets of Detroit. We've been going all day here at Benzinga. So right now, the Chicago Bears are on the clock. They're probably taking Caleb Williams out of USC, but I've got some guys coming on the stream with me that are ready to talk the Bears, I should say. We've got Bob Swirsky and Todd O'Connor hanging out here in Benzinga's headquarters. Come on the stage, guys. I want to talk some Bears football with you guys.
Bears. Go Bears.
Bob Swirsky, Todd O'Connell.
Bears. Young man.
Hey, welcome to the stream. I heard you guys are the biggest Chicago Bears fans that I could find in the country. Is that true?
That is correct. Yes. We just had several brats. He had a heart attack. We're ready to go.
Pork chops. We had pork chops. Remember? Jason?
I had brats.
I didn't see the brats. Did you eat all the brats?
I ate them all. Every one of them.
Dickus?
The coach.
The coach, Mike Ditka.
Come on.
We got pork chops, we got brats, but let's talk some football players here tonight. Who you think the Bears are taking?
The Bears are taking Caleb Williams. For sure, they're taking Caleb Williams. He's going to throw for 10,000 yards, and the Bears are going to the Super Bowl. It's easy.
I disagree. I tend to disagree with you a lot.
Who do you think they're taking?
The Bears? I've done some research.
What's that research say?
According to Wikipedia, J.J. McCarthy.
Wow.
Has been playing sports since he's been in the 9th grade.
Boo.
Hockey, and football.
You're taking the Michigan guy. What do you think about that, Todd?
There's not enough electricity to electroshock me back into existence if they take J.J. McCarthy.
Well, Todd, you know the last time the Bears had the first pick was your second go-around of the 3rd grade in 1947. So it's been a long time since the Bears have had a first overall.
They better not screw it up because I don't think I'm going to make it for the next one.
According to Wikipedia, I'll say it again. Since the 9th grade, J.J. McCarthy is 450.
We're getting word that the pick is in. Let's see if it's J.J.
I can't wait for you to be sad. You're good. That Stogue is not going to be enough to make you happy again. Caleb Williams is coming to the Bears right now. Bears.
All right, Laura Rutledge is on the TV. She's about to tell us who the pick is for the Bears. We've got Todd over here saying it's going to be Caleb. We got Bob over here saying it's going to be JJ from the University of Michigan, the National Football Champions this past year. All right.
I wonder if Jim Harbaugh is going to try and trade up to get JJ McCarthy.
Oh. We're hearing some cheers coming down from downstairs.
We all know what's coming. I don't know what's the suspense with you guys. I really don't get it.
Here we go. The pick for the Bears is in. You got
Bears.
Fans look ready for Caleb Williams out of the University of Southern California.
What was that roar? Was there a trade? Todd?
That is the tide turning in the NFC North.
There's Roger Goodell.
Here comes the commissioner of the National Football League, Roger Goodell. The pick is in. The Bears select Caleb Williams from the University of Southern California. Todd, you were right.
I tried to tell you.
How long have you known Caleb was going to be a Bear?
Well, I talked to him and I talked to Ditka last night, and we got it all figured out, and we're ready to go. And it's going to be big trouble for the Lions this year, I'm afraid. Big trouble. And the Packers, you might as well not even show up. I'll be honest.
Well, in the past, Lions-Bears games, that Justin Fields hasn't been the problem. He's played pretty well.
That's correct. And we split. But now we get to win both.
Fields jersey here right now.
The Bears.
The Bears right now.
Do you think he'll start for Pittsburgh this year?
They did not re-sign him on his contract. I don't know, Todd. I guess we're going to have to get ready to go down to Rush Street and do the Super Bowl shuffle.
I don't know if I can still dance like that, but I'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. We'll have some brats. We'll have some beers. Bears.
The Bears.
Todd, what are they going to do with their second pick, or should we save it for a little bit later?
Well, I'm hoping they're going to trade back up.
Let's just
I'll
have
be
you go.
honest.
Let's see if we all make it to tomorrow night. Because I mean, the way you guys are eating those brats and pork chops, I'm not so sure.
That's a good call.
Tomorrow
gonna
night,
lie.
we'll see if and then we can start
not gonna
talking
lie.
about the second pick.
Well, the second pick's in like an hour here.
Oh, I forgot
9.
they have 2 in the first round.
You
See,
forgot.
You guys are big Bears
You
fans.
forgot. Yeah, you forgot. I bet you forgot.
What pick do they have now?
They have 9 unless they trade up.
So you think they might shuffle it a little bit?
That's what I've been hearing. I've been hearing they're going all in with Caleb, and they might have to trade back up.
All right. Well, we're going to get, we have Matthew Leonard. He is on the clock for Benzinga. He is out there in Las Vegas, Nevada. And he is a super wicked smart Commanders fan. And so we're going to bring up Chris Kachi. We all know Chris. He's a world famous writer from Benzinga. And he is going to come up and he is going to discuss what the Washington Commanders will do. If they're smart, they will take J.J. McCarthy.
He's no Ditka, but Chris is a good guy. He's a good guy. We're going to get his opinion right now. It's still going to be trouble for him. The Bears just got Caleb Williams, and the Bears are going to win the Super Bowl.
Todd, I heard that Caleb Williams paints his nails.
I think that might be the case.
Are you going to start painting your nails to match Caleb?
I don't think so, no.
What would he have to do in his rookie year to get you to paint your nails?
Win the Super Bowl. He wins the Super Bowl, I'll paint whatever you want.
Okay.
How about that?
But he can't.
But I'm not giving up brats.
What if they go 6-0? How about this? They go 6-0, you paint your nails.
No, no, 6-0 wasn't good enough for Ditka. It's not good enough for Todd. We need the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, I'd like to see you with your nails painted orange.
I bet you would like to see that.
I don't know. I mean, I would not. I mean, if I would have to see the Bears win a Super Bowl, then I'm not so sure. But maybe Well, I think we should come up with a more fair benchmark for Caleb.
Nothing's going to be fair against the Bears. Bears, Chris, you ready?
All right. Welcome to the stream, Matthew. How you doing?
It's great to be here for teams that haven't won a Super Bowl in decades. The draft is sort of the most exciting day of the year, right? It sort of represents hope of what could happen. Ultimately, for us, it's about quarterback and the goal for
Hold on, Matthew. We're dealing with some audio issues over here. I'm trying to catch you through my laptop. I'm making sure it doesn't echo. So hopefully we're not echoing over here. But you think we're going with Jaden Daniels?
Well, the Vegas odds makers was pretty much even between Drake May and Jaden Daniels last weekend, but over the last few days, the Daniels odds have skyrocketed. So it's almost like a 99% certainty, even with like a trade, that basically Daniels is going to be the pick. If you study the draft the last 15 years, if you're a Heisman winning QB, you go either 1 or 2 in the draft. The only exception in the last 15 years is Lamar Jackson, who went last in the first round, 32nd pick, and Johnny Manziel. Other than that, when they win the Heisman and then go into the draft, it's always 1-2. So odds makers are right, I think, in terms of who are they going to pick. I see the Bears are clapping right now.
I think with especially with Lamar, when he fell to the end of the first round, I think after that, now you have teams that are more willing to gamble on that, dual threat quarterback. Obviously the similarities there between Daniels and Lamar, that they both won the Heisman, both dual threat quarterbacks coming out, and teams don't want to pass up on the next Lamar Jackson. So
Right.
I've thought that Jaden Daniels is going 2 for a while. But there's obviously been a lot of talk about Drake May, about other quarterbacks. But I've been saying, we've got one big Commanders fan in our office. I've been telling him for months it's going to be Jaden Daniels.
If you listen to Nick Saban in his interviews today, he says Jaden Daniels was the quarterback that he did not want to face, because the fact that he's so elusive in the pocket, the fact that he improved so much in terms of his deep ball. If you looked at his transition from Arizona State to LSU, I mean, just 2 seasons ago, he threw like 10 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And then just, 2 seasons, all of a sudden he's throwing for 4,000 yards plus and like 38 touchdowns. I mean, it is crazy, the amount of improvement. And I don't know what that is. Is that the offense? Is the fact they have NFL type wide receivers and neighbors is the fact that supposedly he used technology. He used VR headsets to sort of train to be a QB, and that sort of, and in theory, that sort of helped him stay in the pocket and make the right reads. But supposedly his ability to process information is just so much higher than other QBs, including Caleb. Supposedly, if Caleb was not in the draft, everyone sort of thinks that he'd be the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, I saw Daniels firsthand when LSU played Mizzou this year, and he just absolutely went off and basically single-handedly won the game for LSU against Missouri. And Missouri had a good team this year. He beat Ohio State in the bowl game. All right, I'm seeing that the Commanders pick is in. So we should be getting that momentarily. Wow, there are a lot of people in downtown Detroit. Matthew, have you ever been to an NFL draft before?
I've never been to an NFL draft. I want to. I live here in Las Vegas, but I wasn't here when they had the COVID draft.
Okay.
Well, here we go. Here we go.
I mean, I really do think that it's Williams, Daniels.
There we go. It's Daniels. That is the pick.
It's like a foregone conclusion.
The odds makers was so. Hopefully, the end goal of this is that he will join the team and lead us to a Super Bowl. I have some props. There's only been 3 QBs to lead us to a Super Bowl. We have Joe Theismann, Doug Williams. Can you guess the third? Mark Rippon. So hopefully in the future I can get my next helmet signed by Jaden Daniels when he wins us the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, Jaden Daniels, again, you're getting a great dual threat quarterback, someone who has proven he's been able to do it. I mean, if you can do it in the SEC, chances are you're going to have some success in the NFL. We've seen that in the past. So again, Jaden Daniels coming in as the number 2 overall pick to the Washington Commanders. Matthew, what do you think? What other positions do you think the Commanders will target in this draft?
I think the next pick is going to be an offensive tackle. So the rumor is because in the top 100, they have 5 picks. And so people think they're going to package a couple of their second-round picks to move back into the first round to get a tackle. Supposedly, it's very deep in this draft for tackles, but they think once there's a run on a position, teams to sort of pile on and they don't want to miss out. So right now, you have a dual-threat QB. You have to protect them, right? You have to protect them. This team knows what happens when you don't protect a running dual threat QB. So I think that's very important. Even if you have to trade a few picks, I think, to move up to get the right person. Supposedly Mims would be the guy that people are talking about if you do want to move up. But
Matthew, what's your projection for next season? Wins and losses for Washington?
I think it's more of like a 9-8, maybe. It's very hard. There are a lot of holes to plug. And so they have moved on from quite a number of players. They traded, I think, one of their best players in Montez Sweat last year to the Bears for a second-round pick. I think he was probably one of our best players. And then our number 2 pick that we had back in 2020, Chase Young, they traded to the Niners, and then he signed with the Saints. And so there's gaps on the defensive line. If you see a lot of players that they signed to fill those gaps, they signed a player from the Chiefs that was basically a backup last year, but he played in the Super Bowl because the starter got hurt. They've signed, or they declined to sign their running back that started last year, Antonio Gibson. He went to the Patriots, and so that's going to be a spot to fill. And then supposedly need a wide receiver because Curtis Samuel signed with the Bills, and so that's a sort of a starter position. He was sort of the Debo Samuel type role that basically he do a lot of screens and reverses, and he was a good blocker. So a lot of holes.
All right. Well, Matthew, thank you for hopping on with us and talking some Commanders football. Congratulations on the new
thanks
quarterback.
for having me on.
And
Matthew.
it's been a while. It's been probably since RG3 the last time the Commanders have had really a serviceable quarterback, and obviously that wasn't that long of a tenure.
Cousins. We had Kirk Cousins.
Oh, that's true. He's
like
serviceable.
You like that?
You like that?
Yeah, Kirk Cousins was serviceable. I mean, that's why he got his big contract, was the way he played in Washington.
He's made
so
some money,
me,
so he's definitely more than serviceable.
I think at the end of the day, a lot of people will find those Kirk Cousins years somewhat forgettable. But he was really good though.
He took us to the playoffs. What else do you want, right? It's hope. Hope and a chance.
A few playoff wins, maybe. I don't know. But Matthew, again, thank you very much. Enjoy your time out in Vegas. We'll have to chat soon. All right.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
All right, guys. All right, that was Matthew joining us from Las Vegas. We have news that the Patriots pick is in again. I think it's probably pretty good chance here they take Drake May. We spoke to Drake May yesterday. We talked to Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams. So we're in the whole first top three. We're putting those short clips out tomorrow. We should have those ready to go soon. What's up, Todd? You're back?
I had to lose the mustache, man. I had to lose the mustache. But I'm really excited for this Patriots pick here. I think this is really the draft. Do they trade? Do they pick? Looks like it's in.
I think with the pick in, I mean, it surprised me a little because they were talking like the shop was open for New England still for trades, and
I think it's Drake May.
Yeah, I think it's got to be May, and I mean they only used 5 minutes, so I don't think they got an offer that they wanted for number 3.
That's what they were saying. I think it makes sense to go down though. You got so many holes on that roster. You can fill it with so many players. We'll see though.
I think with May, the teams look at him and look at his build and think this could be the next Josh Allen. So if you have a guy that you think could be like Josh Allen, you probably want to take him when you get the opportunity and not, trade down and lose. Like, I think what we've seen in the NFL the past few years is that the teams only basically with the, Josh Allen's, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrows, Lamar Jackson's, like those are the teams that are having success. So teams, I don't think right now are going to pass up an opportunity to get a quarterback they see as having such a high ceiling.
The A-tier quarterbacks, you're absolutely right. I thought the Giants, actually, with Dayball there, knowing about Josh Allen, might think this is the time to trade up, right? This is the time to go trade up, get May. But
I'm not sold on May being that good. I think he's got that type of ceiling, though. People look at it as like physicality, and he's like built like a linebacker. I mean, I stood next to him yesterday, and he's a big guy.
And he's got a rocket arm.
Rocket arm, big guy. All right, pick is in. Goodell is up on the stage. They're cheering. Drake May, North Carolina quarterback. So we've gone 3 quarterbacks in a row. 1, 2, 3. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. No big surprise so far. Like Matthew said, that was the expectation from Vegas. The odds makers had priced this in that these 3 guys would go 1, 2, 3. It's exactly what we've seen. Now I think is where you start to see the draft get a little bit more open.
Now, you think that we get a trade here next? You think we get another QB, or you think we get a skill player?
Arizona's coming up next. I think Arizona will go wide receiver. I think they'll go Marvin Harrison Jr. Arizona needs some help on the wide receiver front. They got Rondale Moore out of Purdue, who's pretty decent, but he's a smaller guy. They had Hollywood Brown last year, who I think went somewhere else. Yeah, the Chiefs got Hollywood Brown. Wow. So yeah, I don't even know another Cardinals wide receiver. Who else they got?
I'm scratching my head too.
Josh Brown, maybe.
They really need some weapons out there, and I'm not sure if they're sold on Kyler. I guess if they go weapon here, they're sold on Kyler.
Yeah, I think they will. I think maybe if there was another franchise-esque type quarterback after Drake May, that they might go quarterback. But since I don't know who the next quarterback, I guess would be probably JJ or Penix out of Washington via Indiana.
I tell you, I watched him when he played at Indiana, and he was good, but he was always hurt, and then he was real good.
Yeah, I mean, he played well all through the playoffs as well.
Deep ball. Really accurate deep ball, left-handed, tough to get read on it sometimes, especially with the spin for the defensive backs. He's a good player. They're
showing some Drake May stuff. He comes from a big athlete family. His brother Luke played baseball at Florida.
Brother plays center in North Carolina's basketball team?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he had a basket, and his dad played quarterback.
Dad played.
So you got baseball, basketball, and football?
Yep.
It's a family of athletes.
Look, there they are, the Mays.
You guys think Harrison for sure if they take wide receiver? Or you think we start to see these mock drafts start to fall apart with like a Neighbors or someone moving up at receiver?
Don't you think that's kind of all smoke? I feel like Harrison's the can't miss. Like Neighbors,
I think he has been for 2 years.
Yeah,
but
I mean, to me, I think he might even be the best player on the board, just pure skill wise. And I think he's the least likely player in this draft to bust, flat out. The lock of the draft, Marv, as they call him, Maserati Marv.
I mean, I don't think you can really go wrong between Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr. I think Marvin Harrison probably still gets taken first out of them, but I think there are a lot of really good receivers. I can't remember another draft where we have the potential to see like 3 wide receivers go in the first, 20 picks, let alone the first round. Of course, you have Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Rome Odunze coming out of Washington. So lots of talent out there on the wide receiver front. Will be interesting to see where they go with that.
The craziest thing to me is that if you go and look up Jaden Daniels highlights, all you see is Malik Neighbors. He literally jumps off the screen on every other highlight for Jaden Daniels. He's extremely explosive, absolute stud. I don't think you can go wrong with either of these two guys.
So in the mock draft I'm looking at right now, it says that the Minnesota Vikings would trade up at 5, so take the pick from the Chargers in order to get Joel's guy JJ McCarthy. So JJ might still go at some point in the first round here. We will see her in the top 10, I should say. But again, Cardinals here? Probably taking a wide receiver. All right,
and the pick is in. I thought they were going to use all 10 minutes there for a second. I think it's got to be Harrison.
Still no trade.
I think 5. I mean, if we don't see a trade at 5, I think that would surprise me. I think, but again, that's the one that everyone's been predicting. So,
all right. Well, they're saying Drake May. I don't think that's right. Can't take him again. Oh, no, they're just showing highlights of him.
It is a long walk to walk that pick in, isn't it? I mean, I feel like that's part of the issue here. We were out there walking. It's a long walk to get that pick in. Maybe that's what's going on. Great deep ball from Drake May on the highlights, though, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I mean, any of these guys' highlights can look good, but I don't know. I think May... It'll be interesting. May is one of those guys. He's like he might be kind of more of a project than some of the other quarterbacks coming out of the draft. But like I said, I think it's all about now ceiling. And if you have that high ceiling, because Mahomes wasn't the first quarterback. I mean, you know better than anyone, Ryan. The Bears took Trubisky that draft, a UNC quarterback.
Thanks a lot.
yeah, wow.
Thanks a lot. Another UNC quarterback that wears 10, by the way. Thanks, Aaron.
No, I'm just saying that it's now that after Allen and Mahomes, who both came from schools in Wyoming and Texas Tech that you don't typically see, the biggest prospects coming out of, that after that, I think teams will now look at these guys just based on their ceiling and not want to miss out on that type of Mahomes, Allen. And then sometimes I think rarely you get the guys that are that good and also have the college success and they come from a big program like Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence. All right, they're cheering. Marvin Harrison Jr. Wow, so this draft so far has been all chalk. It's exactly what the mock drafts in Vegas were all counting on so far. You had, again, Caleb Williams at 1, Jaden Daniels at 2 to the Commanders, Drake May at 3 to the Patriots, and now Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Cardinals. So we've gone quarterback, wide receiver. There's a good chance we go quarterback and wide receiver next too.
I think it's going to be quarterback. I really do. I think we get a trade up. If the Chargers do keep it, I mean, they have a lot of holes to fill too. Wider. Yeah.
I do. Harbaugh's looking for depth.
Yeah.
Well, the Chargers need a wide receiver though too. They lost Mike Williams. They lost Keenan Allen.
Yep.
And so, you have a guy in Herbert, but you need to give Herbert some weapons. You need to give him some people to play with. They lost Eckler as well to the Commanders. So Chargers really need a weapon here. So I actually wouldn't be shocked to see them take Neighbors or, one of the other wide receivers that's out there. Rome Odunze, maybe.
You think they keep the pick?
It just wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. I just think, like Joel said, I think the pick's been, they've been shopping it for so long. I think they probably got a good offer by now, but
I mean, you got to do something. If you play in the AFC West and you have to play Patrick Mahomes twice a year, and now you got the Broncos who Sean Payton's trying to rebuild right now. You've got the Raiders who are slowly getting better. I mean, I think you got to kind of be drastic if you want to be able to put out a team that can compete with Patrick Mahomes. And, they got a drastic change at coach, going from Brandon Staley to your boy Jim Harbaugh, Joel. But I wouldn't, like I said, I just wouldn't be shocked if they took a weapon here.
So they were talking about Rome Odunze from Washington, that he's a multi-dimensional wide receiver. He can cut across the middle, catch in traffic. Also, he has the speed to beat you on the outside. Also, is just supposed to be a terrific student, a terrific person, all around, has the talent. But he didn't really impress me in that championship game at all. I mean, maybe that was due to the stingy Michigan defense.
Yeah, I think their D-line was putting a lot of pressure on Penix and the rest of the team there. I wouldn't base that too much off of just that one game, although Penix really played well down the stretch and in the playoffs, and maybe not amazing in that national championship game, but I think definitely enough to help boost his draft stock a little bit.
Right, and then also Malik Neighbors on the board from LSU.
He played with Daniels, yeah.
Right, he played with Daniels, so he had another threat. They had to double team. Neighbors, so that left them open. So we got a couple quarterbacks here. The Cardinals made their pick. I don't know. We'll see I think Jim Harbaugh has a couple tricks up his sleeve here with the Chargers. As we said, everything's gone pretty much according to plan. We'll see if something changes here. It's to take him a little bit longer than expected, but there's still some good wide receivers. But another thing too in the NFL is you need people on the line. You need strength. And San Diego, they did not give Herbert. He got banged around. He got hurt a lot. So if he wants to go to a solid run game, Joe Alt is still on the board from Notre Dame. He's one of the top offensive linemen in the country. I don't know. We'll see what kind of tricks Jimmy has up his sleeve here. But we are waiting on the pick. Just the Marvin Harrison pick. Of course, his father was a great wide receiver. Once again, didn't do a lot in the Michigan-Ohio State game, but he has all the tools to be, a great wide receiver. But we'll see if everything goes according to plan here.
Yeah, Joel, I saw a couple mock drafts that actually have the Chargers taking offensive tackle. I saw Latham from Alabama. So, I mean, I guess that wouldn't shock me either. Like you said, they do need to protect the quarterback, but I think like AB said.
I mean, look, I think some of these guys, Marvin Harrison Jr., I think so far is the only guy that was not here in Detroit for the draft that got drafted so far. The first three guys all traveled, so they probably had a pretty good idea. But I think here is where, if you're a player, you're sitting in that green room, you're waiting for your name to be called, and you really have no idea now. I mean, maybe the Chargers have reached out to some of these players and said, hey, if you're still on the board, we're thinking about taking you. But again, I think there was so much uncertainty about this pick, whether the Chargers would end up trading it, that maybe the players don't even have a good gauge of if now is, where they're going. So again, if they're going wide receiver, if the Chargers want to go wide receiver, because we talked about how they lost Mike Williams, they lost Keenan Allen. You still have Malik Neighbors from LSU. You got Rome Odunze from Washington, Adonai Mitchell from Texas, Brian Thomas also from LSU. So LSU right now is slated to have 2 out of the first 5 or 6 wide receivers taken, and then Troy Franklin out of Oregon. But probably Neighbors, I think, is the consensus number 2 wide receiver pick. And I don't know. I mean, I can't remember, Chris, a time we've seen 2 wide receivers taken so high.
Yeah, I think it's been a little while since that has happened. And I mean, again, like, you're going to have some good offensive tackles and some of these other key positions left on the board if we go quarterback and wide receiver heavy this early in the draft, which, I mean, I remember past years when an OT would go number 1 every year, right? Because you want to protect your quarterback. And these quarterbacks,
that might have been a little bit of the blind-side effect.
It was, for sure.
You're thinking, oh my God, it's the most important position, and then you watch a few seasons of Patrick Mahomes, and you're like, oh wait, no, that's the most important position.
Exactly.
And
2 minutes left. I mean, I think.
Well, it's weird too because everyone knew the first 4 picks were pretty consensus. I mean, maybe not Marvin Harrison at 4, but the first 3 at least. So then you got to figure you have all off season to prepare, and you're thinking, like, at least for the last month or so, that those 3 guys are off the board.
I think I think another consideration here for the Chargers is that they're way over the salary cap. And when you're way over the salary cap and you're drafting these players in the higher positions, they're slated to make the higher salaries. Of course, it's only for a couple years here. But so if you trade down, you get a couple picks with those lower picks. They're not as obligated to pay them the amount of salary. So that was a big reason that they had to do what they did, getting rid of some of those other wide receivers. So I think there's more than just player considerations here with the Chargers. I think there's also the salary cap that they want to deal with, and also how does Jimmy Harbaugh want to shape this offense? The other thing too, you haven't seen a defensive player go yet, and one thing about the Chargers this year is their defense was maybe one of the worst in the leagues here. So you don't really see any defensive players that high up, but we will see. I mean, this is the longest we've had to wait for a pick here, and it figured Jimmy Harbaugh would keep everyone waiting for this pick.
And it did say the pick is in. So again, that doesn't necessarily mean it is the Chargers picking. We could get Goodell walking out to announce.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to play some commercials. But yeah, if you're a Chargers fan, we don't need to tell you how bad the defense was. Of course, they let up 63 points to the Oakland Raiders, and I don't even know who was playing quarterback for the Raiders during that game. It might have been I know Easton Stick
could have been O'Connell.
Yeah, I think it was Aiden O'Connell scored 63 points against the Chargers, and so that's when you're in a tough position there. But all right, we got the Chargers fans. They're looking a little. Oh, this guy looks ready. The guy with the guy with the Thanos glove on. I was gonna say Thanos, so I'm glad you. Emmett probably would have gotten mad if I said the wrong name. But we're seeing the fans. They look excited. They got pictures of Jimmy Harbaugh up here in Michigan.
He's not in his RV.
I don't know where he is, but they've got his picture. I mean, they've got his pictures up there. Chris Wood in the chat saying, I think they go Rome Odunze. So if you guys have predictions, feel free to throw them in the chat. You guys know just as well as we do. We don't get any advance. I mean, you'd think it's right there. We'd be able to hear it almost before it comes on the TV.
Yeah, Chris Wood, who's going to be coming later on to comment on the Dallas Cowboys. He thinks it's going to be Rome Odunze from Washington here. We have Roger Goodell sauntering up to the stage here. He is looking. He's got the card. Survey says...
Joe Alt. They're going.
Joel nails it with the O-line comment.
Oh, Joe Alt, Notre Dame. All right. Well, I mean,
I like it.
Now that we know the pick, I mean, it makes sense that Jim Harbaugh is going to come in, and what's he going to want to do? He's going to want to rebuild the offensive line. He's going to want to play. He's going to want to play his brand of football. Which, I mean, I don't know, though, because I think part of what you need to do as a coach is use the strengths that you have. And right now, I think that's Justin and Herbert and letting him play like his brand of football. I don't know. I mean, I think anytime you can get a solid offensive lineman, it's a good thing. But I think they're still going to need weapons. So it'll be interesting to see if they fill their weapons needs throughout the rest of the draft.
Jim Harbaugh built Michigan on a run game. He built his team on good offensive line, good defensive line. This is an excellent pick for the Chargers. Herbert, I mean, how many games did he miss? How many injuries did he have? And now you got a stud here who's obviously the best offensive lineman in the country coming out here as a showing there, a unanimous All-American. It's a big move. I think it's going to bolster protection for Herbert, and that guy's just banged up, missed a lot of games, and they paid him a ton of money. Also, when you talk about your salary cap limitations, your offensive linemen down the road, they're not going to be making the kind of money that the wide receivers are. Also, running backs are not as coveted as much. So I think it's an excellent pick. And Jimmy did his homework, and he got a real stud there in Joe Alt. Notre Dame, not one of my favorite teams, but definitely got a great player there for the I call him the San Diego Chargers because I'm an old man.
If we, all right, well, as long as you don't call the Rams St. Louis, because that'll hurt me.
I don't want to do that to you, Aaron.
Hurt me a little bit too much. If we have any big mock draft nerds in the chat, Let me know if anyone still has a perfect mock draft going, because I want to see. Like, I always like ranking.
I think they just fell.
What'd you say?
I think all the mocks fell right here. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. So I'm saying someone out there's got to still have a perfect one. And what I like to do is, because you'll see a lot of guys come in and give grades to teams for their draft. I like to give the mock draft guys grades. So I'll give Todd McShay right now a B+ because he had, Caleb, Daniels, May, but then we got to see how some of the other guys are doing in the mock drafts. And I'd be curious to know, again, if anyone has a perfect mock draft going right now where they had Alt going 5th to the Chargers. So on the clock now, we do have the New York Football Giants. The New York Football Giants will be looking. They've got a lot of needs. I mean, they went to the playoffs 2 years ago under Brian Dable. Then last year had a regression year, did not play as well. Played in a tough division between the NFC Beast, as they like to call it, between the Eagles, the Commanders, the Giants, and the Dallas Cowboys. Very tough division. But they want to, what do you guys think?
Well, the big question here is, do they want to stick with that quarterback?
I think so. They already paid him. So I think you got to give him one more year at least.
You think you got to give Daniel Jones one more year? I
think so. I think he had some injuries last year, and I think he's not played great in the NFL, but I think he's had flashes of like, okay, this guy is competent and serviceable. So I think they're, because of his contract situation, they'd be willing to go with Daniels for one more year. Because if you draft a quarterback right now at 6, you're kind of resetting everything. And it's like a 2 to 3 year process.
They're going wide receiver here. The pick is in. I'm saying they're going wide receiver here. They got to get Daniel. I can't even name one of the wide receivers for the Giants.
So Darren Waller.
Yeah.
And Shepard last year. I mean, the Giants, the stats guys last year, the Giants scored 266 points. They were 30th in the league. They allowed 407. They were 26th on defense. So minus 141 points. So they need help all over.
So I'll guess Malik Neighbors here.
You're going to go with, I think Malik Neighbors or
Rome.
Yep, or Rome Odunze. They got to get someone. And also they lost Barkley, right? Saquon Barkley, but running backs are not
early.
Yep. Too early to take Blake Corum, but he will probably be the first running back taken in the draft, right?
I think JJ McCarthy would actually be a good fit for the Giants, but like I said, I think they're giving Daniels another go.
Okay, so here we go. Roger Goodell at the stage here in beautiful Campus Martius Park. Right behind us, folks. We're in the Motor City covering the draft for you here for Benzinga. The Giants fans, Malik Neighbors.
All right, so now the draft is going back to chalk. We've got it. All right. Someone out there has some pretty good mock drafts going right now. Obviously, the alt pick, I think, threw some people off, but still looking good overall.
Yeah, now I wonder if teams start to look at wide receivers. I mean, AB, we just had a couple go. We've got Odunze still out there, but any of these teams that need a wide receiver now, do you start to get worried? Do you start to try to move up? And also, I mean, this is further than a lot of mock drafts had JJ McCarthy going without a trade happening now.
Yeah, I think so. JJ is one of these cases where actually from the end of the football season to the draft, he had been trending higher and higher and higher in mock drafts. Like, he wasn't even talked about as really a first round pick, let alone a top 10 pick right after the season. And then all of a sudden you started hearing like rumors that he might go number 2 overall, or he might go number 3 overall. And then since then, he's kind of backed off now, and I think a little bit back to reality. I think, anything in the top 10 for JJ McCarthy is a little bit of a stretch, honestly. Not to say he can't succeed in the NFL, but I think the type of system he needs to succeed would be like a Brock Purdy type situation in San Francisco. And obviously those types of teams, no offense, Ryan, aren't picking that high. Those types of teams that have the good situations that would complement JJ McCarthy aren't picking in the top 5, top 10.
No, you're absolutely right about that. Thankfully, the Bears had their top pick from a different team.
Correct.
It was really terrible.
Carolina
So let that be known.
Well, and their other real pick, though, is still in the top 10, is it not?
It is. It's pick 9, but you said top 5, so we're just going with what you said. That's the best I can do.
Okay.
To answer your question, Chris, I'm starting to get nervous because going into this draft, I had the Bears getting one of the top 3 receivers, and the Chicago sources had been floating that they were talking about maybe trading up. Well, Neighbors and Maserati Marv are both gone now. So we got one more
You
opportunity
got
here.
DJ Moore and
You know, yeah, Keenan Allen's never played a full season. He's 30 years old.
the
DJ
Bears
Moore's
got
an absolute.
Allen?
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way,
DJ Moore's a dog. He's good.
Allen wears 13. So you guys tell me what number you think Caleb's going to wear. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But here's the thing. I think Tennessee probably goes O-line to protect Will Levis. And I think Atlanta goes edge rusher, Dallas Turner, Jared Verse. And if that happens, then the Bears can take a Dunze here. But I'm nervous.
Yeah,
I'm nervous, man.
Tennessee does. I mean, Tennessee could use a wide receiver too. That was listed.
Didn't they
as one
just
of their
invest in
needs.
Burks from Arkansas?
They did.
I think okay, Ryan, here's where I wouldn't be as nervous as maybe you are right now, is because I think this draft in particular is very deep when it comes to wide receivers. Like I think even if you end up getting
Like
Brian
Worthy or someone later on.
Xavier Worthy is good, but even if you ended up getting Brian Thomas, who's the second wide receiver on LSU, I think Brian Thomas would be going in the top 20 picks of most normal drafts, but because he's probably getting punished a little bit because he's the second best wide receiver at his own college, but like he's a dog. And I think getting him, later in the first round would be a steal. I think, maybe not at 9 steal, but Rome, should still be there.
So here's the thing. So everything that you just said is factually accurate. I mean, in this case it is. Sometimes it's not, but in this case it is. The big problem that I have is that the three receivers are at such a level. There is such a drop off from those three receivers to guys like Brian Thomas. And I think at that point, you really have to consider trading down if you're the Bears. I don't know that you can take that. Now, we still got Brock Bowers on the board. I don't think you should take a tight end in the top 15 personally. And we already have Cole Kmet. When did Travis Kelce get drafted? Not at 9.
Late, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't think a tight end here is really good use of your draft capital. I'm nervous though. I'm nervous. I really
Brock Bowers, I think, is probably the best tight end.
No question. He's like a receiver.
The best tight end prospect to come out of college since probably, I don't know.
But he didn't play for Iowa.
He
didn't play. So how do we handicap it? He didn't play for Iowa.
Kelce or
tight end Iowa.
Tight end, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I've seen Bowers going 10th to the Jets in a ton of mock drafts,
which would be fine with me.
Yeah,
that would be fine.
To get Rodgers another weapon
right now. I don't think they really have a good tight end.
Is Rodgers going to play more than 5 games?
Maybe.
You mean more than 5 snaps?
No, I meant 5 games. I was trying to be a little bit nice to our brethren in New York here, but maybe 5 snaps. Let's do that. You think he plays more than 5 snaps? I mean, oh my goodness, I hope so.
Titans pick is in, but it looks like we're on commercial, so. Yeah, I mean, I think O-line probably here, like you guys said. I don't know. Not a ton of surprises yet. But
no, and the Titans, too, I could see them trading down also.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see it. No,
I think that's the biggest surprise for me so far is that
no trade.
trade.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I mean,
that is for sure. Don't you love draft season though? The smoke. I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
Well, that's what makes mock drafts so impossible to do because you have to try to predict when these trades are going to happen. Otherwise, you're saying JJ's going to go 5 when the team that's actually 5 doesn't need a quarterback. So. Yeah.
And then I think you're going to have another situation with the quarterbacks coming in about a half an hour here when we get into the teens, because you just had the Broncos trade for Zach Wilson. I don't think the Broncos are comfortable taking Bo Nix at what is it, 12, 13? I think that's way too high for Bo Nix. So I think you're looking at another possible trade down for the Broncos. What are the Vikings going to do? They're supposed to be getting these 2 picks to trade up. JJ's still on the board. I mean,
yeah,
you got to have some trades coming here soon.
JJ's on the board, I mean, I think Minnesota still, that's the situation that they want. And I mean, a lot of people have said JJ's a good fit there. He'd have, wide receiver weapons. Yeah. I don't know.
So do we think with each pick that JJ doesn't get picked, that the Vikings benefit? Is that pretty much where we're at right now?
I mean, right now they haven't had to give up a single thing and they're still
on the board.
Where are they slated at? Where are they supposed to?
They're 11.
11 is their first one. Yeah. And we got Vikings fan Jacob Bear in here to break it down too when we get there. So
Minnesota stay tuned. 11 and 23, like the Bears, Ryan. They're one of those teams that has 2 first rounders.
And they traded to get another one. Yep. So I gotta think they trade again here, Chris. I think you're right on that.
Yeah.
We'll see though. Has everyone enjoyed the draft so far? I feel like the draft every year gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
I'm surprised at how many people travel for it.
I can't believe how many people.
Like, if you told me the draft was in, I don't know, say like Denver this year, Ryan, and asked me if I wanted to go, I'd be like, not really. Like, it just seems like a lot to travel for the draft, but now actually being here and seeing it in person, I like get the electricity, I get the excitement. I think what it is it's a time, it's probably the only time of the year, maybe 5 minutes before kickoff of the very first week, that all 32 fan bases have hope and are excited, because as soon as that season starts and your team goes down 7-0, boom, that's out the window, and you're just like, you start thinking about next year's draft.
That's such a good
and
point.
Ryan, you probably were doing that very early last year. Thinking about, you're looking at the Panthers schedule, you're looking at the Bears schedule, thinking we might have two very good drafts.
I thought we were going 1-2. I thought we were going Caleb, Maserati, Marv 1-2. Bears ended up pulling it together, but we'll see. Titans pick is in. We are waiting on that.
I think honestly, that's like the perfect season for the Bears in that sense. Although it was almost weird because Justin Fields started playing so well at one point that you started thinking, like, do we even take a quarterback?
Well, so that's the thing. I think if they don't have one, we don't even have these discussions. Fields is still under center in Chicago. I think the only reason that they moved off him was because they had a chance at the next Mahomes. I mean, that's what he's billed as.
Right.
And you know, the Bears did right by him, right? They took less.
So really the Panthers screwed Justin Fields over out of his starting job.
Yeah, not the Bears. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. We're going to go with that.
Game.
Yeah.
I love David Tepper. Let me just put that on record right here. As a Bears fan, David Tepper is my friend. I hope to get invited to his box one day if you're out there.
Yeah, and spray some champagne on the fans.
Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let
You're gonna
him
watch
spray
him
the
do it.
fans.
All
I
right.
think.
Hopefully he's not going to do that anymore either after his fine. But
Well, all right. I think bottom line, you know, that was a good season for the Bears in the sense that you're still rebuilding. Probably weren't going to win the Super Bowl anyway. Get a few wins, get some of those guys some confidence. Maybe, hey, we can actually play football. Okay.
another offensive tackle.
JC
So there's
Latham out of Alabama. Defensive
Roll
tackle.
Tide.
Another guy that's here in Detroit, in downtown Detroit. They had, I think they only had about 13 of the prospects actually came in town. Of course, we've already seen now 4 of them get drafted. Marvin Harrison Jr. wasn't here, was he? No. It was you had Rome. He still is out there.
Caleb was here.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of the guys that are still out there.
That's still out there. Gotcha.
Terrion Arnold, is that his name?
Arnold, cornerback.
Yeah.
All right. So real quick here, guys, this JC Latham pick, I love this. This is the best possible thing that could have happened right there as they went tackle. I think you got the first defensive player coming off the board here, 8 next to Atlanta. I think they're going to get their edge rusher, Dallas Turner, Jared Verse. And I think my Bears are going to go get Rome. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have
Rome,
some fun.
DJ Moore, and Keenan Allen with Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet,
I actually
DeAndre Swift.
back to
Let's go.
I feel like this has just become a Bears stream, but back to my point earlier
Bears.
about the top like 10 teams usually not having a good situation for whatever pick is coming in there if it's a quarterback. I think the Bears are actually setting Caleb Williams up with as good of a situation as basically any other. I mean, I guess Burrow walked into a pretty good situation because he ended up going to not the Super Bowl the next year, but like 2 years later.
Yeah. I think you're right. Caleb, I mean, he's going to have weapons there and
a good line.
And a run game
most
and a defense.
Number 1 overall quarterbacks. You think the situation that Trevor Lawrence went into in Jacksonville, like most of them are going into big rebuilding teams. No O-line. That's why they had such a bad year the year before to give him the first overall pick. So Caleb Williams, I mean, the one downside to him for it is he'll have basically no excuses. Like he'll basically be expected to perform year one, and whereas some of these other quarterbacks get a longer leash because they're like, oh, their team's not good. He walked into a bad situation. He's going to get a few years.
So this is a really good discussion topic. What do you guys measure as a successful season for Caleb, given what you just said?
I think he has to win 10 games.
Okay, so
even though I will say I think the NFC North will be one of, if not the hardest division in football.
I was talking with Chris before we started here. I told him as long as the Bears are competing for a playoff spot, I'm going to view this year as a success. Now, the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer in their history, and they're a charter franchise of the damn league. So let's break that right now with Caleb. Let's spin 4,000 yards here with this kid.
Yeah, and Ryan, you know, the Bears won 7 last year. The Vegas line right now is over under 8.5. So, I mean, I would say at that point, 9 seems like a win for them.
I would take that over all day long. If they were in any other division, I do think the NFC North will continue to get tough next year. The Vikings may be a little down year for them again because they have very high standards. But the Lions and the Packers, I mean, you look at both of those teams should have probably beat the 49ers. We're both beating the 49ers in the playoffs. The team that eventually went to the Super Bowl And the 49ers were beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So playing a lot of transitive property there. But the Packers are building something. They had one of the youngest teams in football last year. And basically, I mean, they should have been in the NFC Championship. The Lions should have been in the Super Bowl and have basically returning all their key players with a team that's now, growing a little bit more together. Dan Campbell getting a little bit more experience. So I'm not saying I think for the Lions fans, it's basically back to the NFC Championship or bust next year.
Yeah, and Atlanta pick is in, so we'll see right here what happens.
I'm excited. I got to think that this is an edge rusher. I mean, to me, that just makes too much sense here. And my
Yeah, we
Bears
need to
can
see some
pick
D. We haven't seen a defensive player drafted
Nope,
yet.
not yet. This should be it, though. Remember, they got that long walk out there. I tell you what, Nick Saban is absolutely glowing right now. When his players go in the top 10, it's like he won another national championship. He is the happiest guy on the panel right now. Roll Tide.
All right. Well, the Falcons, they made the trade, right? They signed Kirk Cousins, free agent. They got a lot of needs. We got a projection here. The Falcons, Dallas Turner, two Bama players back to back. What do you think about that, Ryan?
I think that's probably likely going to happen here. I think Dallas Turner is the slightly better player than Jared Verse. It makes sense for him to be the first player off the board here. It fills arguably the biggest need for Atlanta. You want to be able to get the other team off the field so Kirk can get out there and throw it to their weapons. Bijan Robinson had an unbelievable year. That kid is an absolute stud. Drake London really started to come into his own, and maybe Kyle Pitts will look like the top prospect that he was built out to be. So I got to think that the pick here, defense, bookend edge rusher, and then we'll go to Chicago.
Yeah, getting ready for that Chicago pick after this. Lot of players still on the board. Rome Odunze really falling like a rock. I believe Dan Jeremiah had him as his top-rated player in the draft. Of course, quarterbacks are much more coveted, but we'll see. We are waiting for the Atlanta Falcons, who when's the last time? They haven't been in the playoffs forever. The pick is in. The Atlanta Falcons.
Back in the Matt Ryan days.
Yeah, back in the
just
Matt
retired,
Ryan days.
by the way.
Wait, Matt Ryan was still playing?
No, he recently retired this year.
Oh, okay.
Matt Ryan officially turned his papers in. Here we go with the pick for the Falcons. Michael Penix Jr.
Wait, so they just signed Kirk Cousins, though, right? What are they going to do with him?
Okay, folks. Holy smokes.
So that means they might trade Penix, I guess. Well,
there's a trade. There's a trade here. There's a trade.
No, because they usually trade before the pick is announced.
No,
okay.
No. This is
a draft and trade.
100%. You can book your money right now. Penix is being traded.
Okay.
I don't know if the Vikings, what do you think, Jacob? Jacob Bear says no. He's going to be up here. Michael Penix ahead of J.J. McCarthy. Did anybody watch the national championship game? I mean, what are they thinking?
And here's why I especially don't think this is like they're trying to do a Jordan Love situation where they want him to sit behind Cousins. Penix is old. Penix is already like 24, 25 years old, which isn't old, but for the draft standards, most of these kids are 22, 23 at the most coming out of college. Penix is a little bit older because you got the extra eligibility year from COVID as well as an injury for Penix.
Prone. Very, very injury prone. I think
when he was playing with Indiana, it's not like he had much offense to
I can confirm he had nothing.
He had nothing. He
was tried to carry that
He
team.
was running around and like running up and down the field on his own, trying to think he could do everything. But Penix, we'll see where he ends up landing. I mean, you have a lot of these types of trades where a team will draft a quarterback and then trade him that same night.
Are you guys ready to have fun? Were you guys ready to have fun? We got Penix going. Everything's thrown into a tizzy now.
Now no one has a perfect mock draft. Someone find me someone who has a perfect mock draft.
Joel, where did you have Penix going?
I had him going later in the first round.
How mad are you that he got drafted ahead of McCarthy?
I think they made a mistake.
No,
you think
you mean they turned in the wrong name?
Yeah, they turned in the wrong card.
I mean, that would be something that Jake Crandall would do. I don't know if they're going to do that.
I did hear it. It wasn't a story about someone turning in the wrong card, but I did hear a funny draft story today. I don't know if you guys have heard this one. Let me go ahead and find it. I texted it to my friends. So this
Bears
guy,
pick is in. They didn't even wait.
Oh, they didn't wait.
Yeah,
We know
wide
what's up
receiver?
here.
What do
Let's
you
go.
think?
This is
finally
Odunze. You can book this one. This is Odunze. Let's go.
Odunze, Rome Odunze,
Rome
wide
Odunze right
receiver.
here. By the way, Joel, I had him going
Chris
at 9,
Wood,
so he
yeah.
didn't slip at all. I don't know who this Daniel whatever his name
Daniel
is. Yeah, I don't know
Jeremiah?
who that is, but I had him go at 9. Let's get it in.
Boy, we're rolling along here. I might be able to make the pre-market prep show in the morning. if we
Yeah,
keep
I
going
hope
like
so.
that.
I was gonna say you better not miss that.
I hope so. I screwed up a trade though today, Joel. I sold some Amazon calls right before the close.
No, never sell. Sell's a 4-letter word, but we're not talking markets. Just like everybody gets mad when we talk sports on the pre-market prep show, we're not going to be talking about the markets.
Oh, I meant to tell you guys, I got this awesome filter that removes those comments when people complain about sports. I'll share it with you. It's great. Love you guys out there. Just kidding. We got to have a Odunze coming here at 9, right? Field
Yeah.
Yates looks like he's really excited.
He looks amped up. I need some of what he's having.
Is he here? Is he here? Is he
Field
here?
Yates, yeah.
Yep.
Matthew Leonard, sorry, 4 season-ending surgeries. This is wild. Matthew.
Yeah, thank
This
you,
is wild.
Matthew. Matthew, thanks for coming on. He was our Washington Commanders special guest, and he was spot on there with Jaden Daniels. He has a little bit of reservations about him, but that was the pick here. But now Michael Penix going. I mean, what are the Falcons doing here? Arthur Blank, I mean, come on. He just hired a new coach, right? Right? Instead of he didn't hire Belichick. He comes in here, and now we'll see. I mean,
It's Raheem Morris, right?
yeah, they're
yeah.
yep.
He's familiar with that division. Absolutely. Here we go. Let's see. Look at polls. I tell you what, they just pillaged Kansas City's front office. So I got a good feeling.
Really?
I mean, yeah, they re-signed Ian Cunningham. They actually just got another scout. His name's I forgot his name because it doesn't have Brat in it. But anyway, another guy from Kansas City in the front office in Chicago.
You know, the Chiefs front office has actually made a mistake the past 5 years, even though you probably haven't heard about it, but they did let Jack Fox go, and now he's like the best punter in the league. So maybe they'd be a lock to go to the Super Bowl one more year in a row had they kept the best punter in the league.
All right.
Rome Odunze.
There you
Let's go.
You called it.
It is time to celebrate, baby. It is time to celebrate.
Wow,
13
Caleb Williams, Rome. Wow.
It is Christmas morning here. Chris, I want to go open my presents. Are you ready? Oh man, this is good. They met each other on the plane. They're going to be taking a lot more plane flights together, Caleb and Rome. Let's go.
Yep, he was projected to go. Big wide receiver. As you
Who's going
said.
to play running back?
DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert, and Roshan
my
Johnson.
God, they're actually good.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm so excited. By the way, Rome Odunze, of these top 3 receivers, arguably the guy that does everything the best. Marvin Harrison, probably the most polished. Malik Neighbors, maybe the most explosive. But Rome Odunze's toolbox is gigantic. He does everything. You throw the ball anywhere near him. His catch radius is gigantic. He's fast. He jumps. He runs great routes. He's going to be perfect to learn under Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. Oh, I can't tell you how excited I am right now.
Okay. All right. Now we have Rome Odunze. I don't know if we have any clips of him that we can show. We have the New York Jets, Jets, Jets. What I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to get somebody to protect Aaron Rodgers? Is that what we're looking at here? I'm looking at the Penn State. I'm not going to try and pronounce his first name. But I will. Fashanu, he's 6'6", 317 from Penn State. The Jets traded one of their offensive linemen, so there is a lot they need to.
Okay, Vikings and Jets flipped 10 and 11, so now the Vikings will select 10. This could be where your boy JJ McCarthy goes.
Chris, did you get the breaking news? Okay, we got him. We got our insider.
I'm gonna give my seat up to Bear for a second. I'll be back though.
And I think Chris Catchy had that before Schefter. Props. That was great.
That was
okay.
bomb.
Breaking news here first on Benzinga. And here we go. We have Jacob Bear. He is not a bear. I don't even know why you work at Benzinga. Your name is Jacob Bear.
The Bear paint.
The Bear paint. I'm going to change your name to Jacob Bull here. He's been pacing this office for hours, wanting to know what the Minnesota Vikings are going to do here. Now they swap picks. You can put that computer down you want. Jacob, welcome to the world headquarters of Benzinga. Big, lifelong Minnesota Vikings fan. You can put this headset on here. The big trade. Welcome. How you doing today?
Doing well. I am shocked. If you would have told me that an old offensive lineman was going at 5 pick, I would have told you you're crazy.
What about Atlanta getting 2 quarterbacks, one in free agency and one in the draft?
Yeah,
do you have that in your bingo card?
Quarterback is throwing balls to Michael Penix Jr. now is something to behold after throwing balls to Justin Jefferson. A little bit of a downgrade, if you ask me, but
I would have to agree. JJ is a stud.
How about that NFC North now shaping up?
You.
The Lions finally blossoming here. The Packers with Jordan Love, really surprising people last year. The Vikings making some upgrades. It's going to go from one of the worst divisions here, the NFC North, to one of the toughest divisions here. A lot of things are making changes here. I'm still shocked by that move for Michael Penix, but we can move on. We want to hear from Jacob. He's got your notes. What do you say, Jacob? The pick is in.
Joel, that NFC is going to be the best man wins. It's going to be one of the best divisions in the NFL this coming season here. But the pick is in.
Pick is in.
If you would have told me that, I don't know what I would have said.
The NFL is doing what the NFL does, and they're playing some commercials before they give us this news. Jacob, what I want to know from you is we talked a lot about the Vikings having to trade up to get their quarterback, and it looks like now they don't have to do that. So the big question for me is not so much JJ here. I mean, maybe Bo Nix. I don't think so, but what are they going to do with the next pick now? Because I thought they were going to use those 2 to move up and get a QB. Now they got another one. What are you thinking?
That was a big talking point coming up to this, because I think, and Paul Allen says, the voice of the Vikings, and also our Canterbury horse track racer caller there, he said, do the Vikings need to go all in? Take a step back. They have look at what we have. We have Justin Jefferson, wide receiver 1. We have Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. Thank you, Lions. We have Aaron Jones. Thank you, Green Bay Packers. I mean, do we need a top caliber quarterback? Do we need Jane Daniels? Do we need Michael? I mean, we need Drake May?
Here's the only thing.
Caleb Williams.
You can't have Caleb Williams. We covered that already. So we're not going to go back to that. Here's what I think you do need. You lost Daniil Hunter. So now you need an edge rusher. Those 2 are still on the board. You got this 23rd pick. I know Joel thought JJ was going to go high here, but I mean, the rest of us really didn't. Does he slip to 23?
First things first, we need a quarterback. Are we going to rely on Sam Darnold?
I'm not going.
He has never been a franchise quarterback. We just got rid of our franchise quarterback to the Falcons, throwing balls to Michael Penix Jr. now. I mean, look at this. When Tyreek Hill went to the Dolphins, they were saying, does Tua have the arm? Does Tua have the accuracy? Everything like that. I mean,
you know what Tyreek Hill said about that?
You know what he said? He said, I had Matt Moore as my quarterback throwing 150 yards.
You know what?
I don't need a top caliber quarterback. Give me Bo Nix. Give me Michael Penix Jr. Give me a quarterback.
They gave him Sam Darnold.
Give me a quarterback. Don't give me Sam
You know what?
Darnold.
Something doesn't make sense here. They just traded with the Jets, right?
Why do we have the 10th pick? Why is that? Why are we going up 1 pick?
And the Jets are not taking a quarterback.
Yeah.
So
what are we giving away?
I don't know.
I wonder if Denver was on the other line, because wouldn't they take McCarthy? They didn't want Nix. Maybe they take McCarthy earlier than Nix.
Denver.
I wonder if this was a block. Yeah, but I mean,
this is a block. There's something going on here. I haven't
I'm with
been
you
able to figure it out yet here, because there's no way the Jets have Aaron Rodgers, right? So there's something
for at least 3 plays.
There's some major swaps going on here, folks. This is going to be a wild second half, and you have to stay tuned to Benzinga here.
And we have the 23rd pick. Keep that in mind. So we might be giving that away, both of our picks in the first round for this 10th pick. Why are we going up just 1 pick? Were the Jets going to pick the next quarterback in line, Michael Penix or Bo Nix, or something like that, just to trade him away for more than we have? I don't know, but they're keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, there's some things in the works here. Moving up like this. I mean, the Jets obviously know that they need some help on the offensive line. They just traded one. They traded the 23rd pick, or what did they do?
We have the 23rd pick. I don't know what the details are on the.
All right,
on
here
the
we
10th
go.
pick.
Here's the Vikings. Here's the trade. Okay.
4th and a 5th round. Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
late picks.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's exactly what I thought. KOC didn't have to give away the entire,
So they kept the second
picks.
first. They
So
kept
he
the
has
second
his,
first.
He has his pick in the 23rd.
Okay, so I mean, the suspense is killing me here.
I'm
I can't
on
wait.
the edge of our seat here in the Motor City.
Is
There's
your heart rate elevated?
150, 200,000
I
people
trust in
behind
KOC.
us here. Detroit doing a fantastic job here in the NFL draft. Hopefully we could start to get some more clarity behind these trades. I just want to thank Aaron Thomas here. He's working real hard, and Malia behind the boards here, keeping things running smoothly here. Run it after putting out a great sports business Titan event. And who do we have? Do we have some guest pickers here, or we have some young kids out here, and we're going to have some young talent coming up later on to do some picks for us for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to have Emmett Kachi come up a little bit later on. So we're going to get some kid interest here. We have teams for taps there or something. Perhaps they're making the pick. Do we hear a roar from the crowd yet? Come on, Roger. The pick is in. It's been in for a while.
Yeah,
he's got.
Vikings. I mean, it's the NFL. He's got to milk it for everything it is. I mean, let's be honest. That's what they got to do here. Chris, I think you're right. I think that was a block. I think there was some trade strategy going on. I think that they stopped Denver from coming up here. So let's see what the pick is. I think if this is McCarthy, Joel, I think to me that's enough for me to say that this was a block to stop Sean Payton from getting this guy. That's what I think. We'll see.
No, JJ slipping. He's slipping here in the first round. So early predictions. Here we go.
McCarthy to the Vikings.
All
Let's
right.
There we go.
Okay. How you feeling? How you feeling?
I feel like
There we go.
when you say touchdown JJ, you don't know what JJ you're going to be talking about here now.
Okay.
You got JJ squared.
JJ McCarthy here, our man, national champion.
Wow.
He's happy. We get a quarterback. I mean, the guy wins. The guy does nothing but win. So why would you not draft a winner, a pure winner, run the offense? He's going to have a target like JJ Jefferson, JJ to JJ.
JJ to JJ.
Did I just patent that? Should I start a T-shirt right
JJ
now?
JJ squared. Put it on. Patent that. TM.
Holy mackerel. I'm happy for JJ McCarthy, but I am having some conflict here being a Detroit Lions fan. Now I have JJ McCarthy playing for the Vikings twice a year. Folks, man, this draft is an exciting one here from the Motor City. Look at those stats. 27-1 as a career starter in Michigan. Never lost at Michigan Stadium in his entire career. Beat Ohio State 3 years in a row. You all know good how Ohio State is. This guy has wheels. And, everyone was complaining that, he didn't throw the ball enough, right? You know what? When you have a running game, when you have an offensive line like Michigan had, he could throw the ball, hitting Roman Wilson here on the target. I'm still trying to figure out why they had to move up for the Jets. Did they just swap 10 and 11 here? Is that what they did?
Swap 10 and 11, and it was like a 4th and a 5th rounder. So, I mean, they didn't give up a lot. But, yeah, I mean, Joel, I think you're right. I think it was probably a block, probably interest from other teams. But, I mean, Jacob,
there you go.
They didn't have to give up a lot. I mean, there was talks that they were going to have to give up 11 and 23 to move up to 5, and now here they are getting their 2 first rounders.
And I think that's exactly what KOC wanted. A lot of the talk was Robert Kraft's running the show over in New England, and if that's the case, Robert Kraft wants the whole house. He wants all your first round picks. He wants multiple picks in the next year's draft, everything like that. I think this was This is exactly what KOC wanted. He got exactly what he wanted for what he wanted. And, I looked up on ChatGPT. I said, what do we want? What is it? What happens when you have to define a quarterback? You got power, accuracy, football IQ, all these different things, leadership. That is what JJ McCarthy is. Joel said he doesn't lose. He is a leader. He is a champion, and that's his attitude. And that's where we're going in Minnesota. I mean, all these guys on the offensive line, they want a championship. And if we can bring in somebody like JJ McCarthy coming off a championship, somebody who Jim Harbaugh trusts, somebody who, has that quarterback style. He is a quarterback. That's what he is.
Was that an AI plug there?
I looked at, I got the ChatGPT membership.
You sound like Dennis Dick on the pre-market prep show, pumping AI and Chat GPT. Ask Chat.
Just my smart best friend.
Well, we just asked Chat GPT why Michael Penix went where he did.
I don't think I would have an answer for that.
All right,
Jacob, how about this comment in the chat from Chris Wood? If you have identified QB1, you move heaven and earth to get them. So, I mean, I still am a little surprised, though, that the Vikings didn't have to trade up. I mean, they had to move up one spot.
And we got to talk about the Jets, Jets.
No, but
Jets.
I think if the situation came to be, I think the phones were out. Everyone's on the line. If it came to be in these second, third, fourth, fifth picks, if it had to happen, KOC would have done it. But in the end, KOC had his eye on his quarterback. He knew what he wanted.
Jacob, the pick is in here for the New York Jets. I say it's one of two things.
That was quick.
One, yeah. They wanted me to get home early tonight. Number one, they need some protection. They need to protect Aaron Rodgers. The other player that I love in this draft that is slipped is a tight end from Georgia, Brock Bowers. He's another big target. Rodgers not as mobile. He needs to hit those shorter passes, not stay in the pocket as long. That is my outside pick. I know Ryan Dietrich from Cincinnati wants to see him, but are they going to protect Aaron Rodgers?
My
hot
hot
take.
take.
What are they going to do?
My hot take was the Chargers were trading up with the Vikings to take Brock Bowers at this pick.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they take an offensive.
They take it. Yeah.
Is that a DT?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, DT.
Yeah, a defensive tackle.
That's a surprise here.
Yeah. Hey, a 6'3", 6'6",
Offensive
317. He's an offensive tackle. There you go. Going to protect Aaron Rodgers. He's just a little bit taller than me and just weighs a little bit more than me. But you need protection for Rodgers. What did he get hit on? Like the second or third?
Third play. Yep.
Yeah, third play of the season last year. I don't know what he did against Michigan. The Jets also traded for Ravens right tackle Morgan Moses a little bit earlier. So what they're thinking, they already have a solid defense. The Jets, good defense. Their coach, the coach that came over, what's his name? Robert Saleh came over from San Francisco, very defense oriented. And now you're shoring up the offense. What's going on in their division? We don't know. The Patriots, got their quarterback. Things are wide open. A lot of people had projected the Jets. So I don't know I would love Jerry Ferrara, our coveted CEO, was supposed to come and do this pick for us, but he got caught out in that crowd out there, couldn't make it back in the building. So Jerry was giving me the old Jets, the old suffering Jets. So suffragettes, right? And we'll see if what that does. But right now, little bit of shakeup actually for the mock draft that I was looking at. JJ McCarthy getting hugs from everybody. Broncos pick already in. What's going on here, folks? We are in a fast market here in this draft.
That's good news. Good news.
The Broncos. Wait, I thought. Did the Broncos make a trade here?
No, Broncos is 12, but I do wonder if we see some trades. I mean, again, I think Brock Bowers was a popular pick going to the Jets. The fact that they passed on him. If you're a team and you need that tight end, potential franchise tight end, I mean, Bowers is sitting there for whoever wants to move up now.
Okay, well, the Broncos here, I mean, they traded for Zach Wilson, right? Is Zach Wilson really your quarterback of the future? I mean, they got multiple needs here. Sean Payton, an offensive genius, or at least he was an offensive genius. We will see what they has in store. On the board before this trade was made, a lot of people were looking at Bo Nix here from Oregon. A transfer, started out at Auburn, moved to Oregon. We are now looking to see what is going to happen with the Denver Broncos up here in the Mile High City. Chris, what's your prospects for this one?
I mean, you don't think Zach Wilson is now the franchise quarterback for the for the Jets? I think, I mean, nothing would shock me right now after Penix went that high. I think Nix, I mean, he's next to go for quarterback. And, you know, the Vegas line was over under 4.5 quarterbacks in the first round. And I think we're going to hit it. And it's going to be one of those quarterback drafts that we look back on as either being really good or really bad.
What about defensive players? Have we've had one defensive player taken so far? Is that right?
I think that's two.
Two. Who were? I just went through my notes here. I didn't see. We have the Bama edge? Dallas Turner, right? So really, I don't know. Sean Payton, offensive minded. Zach Wilson, I don't think he's the quarterback of the future. I don't even know who the running backs are. Does Denver even have any running backs? And I don't know. Their defense was kind of poor as last year. So we're all waiting here for the Broncos to make their pick. I'm kind of a little bit lost on this one. Jacob, what's your projections here? Brock Bowers still on the board here. He is, Ryan Dietrich must be getting really excited. Big Cincinnati fan. He told me a little bit over a month ago that he wants to get a target. I would tell you one thing also with the Bengals, though, you would think, man, didn't Joe Burrow get sacked a lot? So don't you think maybe they want to get a little help here on the offensive line? We do have the pick is in, but they're running those commercials here for Prisoner. Oh, we don't want to watch that TV show. But here we go, folks. We are waiting. Ryan is trying. What'd you say? Bo Nix? Is that you? We got Ryan Faluna. His inside sources are telling him that it's going to be Bo Nix here, a quarterback, to get with Zach Wilson. So we'll see. Bo Nix.
If that's the case, it's a quarterback competition, right? Zach Wilson's not the QB1. Bo Nix won't be the QB1. It'll take they'll both be playing preseason games to see who's going to start that game one start next season.
He's a lefty, though, isn't he? Isn't Bo Nix a lefty?
If he's a lefty, that's, most lefties are smarter. They throw harder, more accurate.
I take it you're a lefty.
Might be biased here.
Okay. All right. Well, moving along here. We are at 9:30 here, and we're just chugging along here in the first round with the Denver Broncos. I don't know if you guys can see me here. There's over 150,000 people jammed into Campus Martius Park here. Everything's going into plan. It's a beautiful night. Well, at least a beautiful night for Detroit here. We're in the mid 40s here. No rain. Everything is set up perfectly. A lot of things going on in the Motor City. If you haven't been to the Motor City in a while, come and check it out. There's a lot of great things going on. Here we go. There's a lot of needs here. They're saying a quarterback, an edge, a wide receiver, a center guard.
Did we see Dallas Turner go?
I believe we did. Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner's still on the board.
Dallas Turner's still on the board.
Turner,
There's your
Brock
call
Bowers,
from Jacob Bull.
Ryan says Bo Nix.
Yep.
Schefter texted him. You got a direct message on Twitter? No.
Wait, where does Schechter go to school? Oh, he went to Michigan. Anyways, we're moving in. Roger Goodell at the podium. Survey says Bo Nix, Ryan Faluna. Right. Inside, is that an inside trade, insider information? Could someone call the SEC here?
Seems like some Congress trading there, right?
Yeah, we are. Wow, there we go. All right, Bo Nix. Hey, Ryan, you want to come up here after making that great call? And I'll sit down here for a minute. People are probably tired of hearing about my Michigan stuff, but we're going to be Ryan Faluna here with the inside information.
And now I just want to point out, I mean, Las Vegas is picking 13th, and they need a quarterback.
They also, yeah.
Right? They've got a potential battle, and now they just lost a possible pick. And really, those were the quarterbacks that were supposed to go in the first round, and now you'd be reaching at this point. So does Las Vegas, I mean, is their pick on sale here to try to move back? Because you might be looking at the second round to take your QB now.
I mean, there was a lot of talk about the Raiders trading up too, just like the Vikings, and the fact that everything's just playing out. Everyone's just kind of taking their picks as they come. Comes down to it, the Raiders need a quarterback. And as a Viking, I wouldn't have been mad with Michael Penix Jr. So if they pick up him, I mean, they have somebody who can play the position, play quarterback. They can scramble. That's who I think the pick will be.
So I got a couple of sources. I got some boots on the ground. They're doing great work, guys. Sources out there, you folks, we'll get you a Christmas gift this year. Heard about that Bo Nix there. You know, Chris, I think you were on to something here. I think one of the things we just saw the Vikings and the Jets deal with a block. And so I think then what you had with Denver was the same thing. Denver saying, we're going to freeze Las Vegas out here. Bo Nix, there were Drew Brees comps. We got Sean Payton out there. I mean, this was a match made in heaven. I just think that the Broncos wanted to make this pick a little bit lower, realized that they couldn't, and this is where we end up. So let's see what happens here. The Raiders pick is in. I don't have a Raiders source, unfortunately. I'll work on that. Let me see. I am getting a text message here.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the Raiders, like now, if you're not going to get your quarterback, I feel like you trade down. You try to pick up some extra picks. You know, they need a corner. We haven't had a cornerback taken yet.
I do. Okay, so I do. Source saying here that the Raiders will take Georgia tight end Brock Bowers here.
Okay.
So let's see if my source got this one right as well. But so what do you think? Let's say they do take Bowers here. What do you think of that?
I mean, I think Bowers is a great star. And then, you know, again, you've got a quarterback battle in Las Vegas between Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
Is that a battle, though? I feel like
who would you make one?
I mean, Gardner Minshew really just like overperformed.
He did have a great season last year.
Has Aiden O'Connell ever overperformed at anything other than having an apostrophe in his name? I don't know.
I think Bowers, though, I think it's a great pick here. But I mean, if I'm Las Vegas, I'm looking to trade possibly.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think the smarter pick is to trade down here. Source says Bowers. We'll see if that's correct. My big thing with Bowers, he's as talented as a tight end is going to be, but a tight end as the 13th pick. I don't know. I can't really. I guess a risk management. Just the trader in me says that's no good here.
That was a lot of conversation too. You know. My hot take was the Chargers trade up. They're going to take the 11th pick, take Brock Bowers. They had Gerald Everett at the Chargers for the tight end. You know, a lot of the just conception was they're going to trade up and everything. It's like, is it too early to take Brock Bowers as a tight end? Are they wasting their pick? But here we have it.
Bang. So my source is now 2 for 2 on the early picks here. We'll go with that. Brock Bowers, what do you guys think of this? I know we kind of just talked about it. Now it's official. We'll see. Devontae Adams, Brock Bowers, those are your two big targets out there. You think that moves the needle in a division with Mahomes?
I mean, they're winners out there in Georgia. They win championships. They don't like to lose. So Brock Bowers out there, you know, the Raiders, they don't like to lose either. So
no, and the Raiders got a wicked pass rush. I mean, everyone knows about Max Crosby. They added to that defensive line in free agency this year. They really want to make life tough on Mahomes. Now you add another weapon to the offensive side of the ball. Didn't they beat? My memory is clouded with brats, but didn't they beat Kansas City in one game last year?
I think they split.
They split last year. So I think that's who they're chasing.
Ryan, I love that defense point. So Las Vegas last year, their defense was 9th for points allowed. Offense 23rd. Their point differential was +1 on the season. So I mean, I think offense could definitely use some help. And now you're looking at maybe both sides of the ball being improved. But interesting enough, Vegas odds going into the draft, Las Vegas 6.5 wins after winning 8 games last year. So they actually see a regression. So now do we see sports books move those odds up?
That is actually a really good question. I think I'm surprised to see them move down in win totals. I think adding a weapon here,
See, here's the thing, Chris. So we were talking earlier, this whole projected wins with one player. We were talking earlier about the Bears got 7 wins last year. If I'm not mistaken, Pro Football Focus rates good quarterback play as equivalent to about 3 wins. So if you look at the Bears and you say they didn't really have good quarterback play last year, they get Caleb Williams, they had 7 wins, you're looking at 10. How do you value a tight end at that? I can't see that more than
they need weapons. They have Jacoby Myers, Devontae Adams. Yes, he'll be most likely double covered. I mean, they just need the weapons. Alexander Madison from the Vikings is not an RB1.
No, he's not.
I'm sorry,
You're right.
but they need the weapon. They need a big guy, much like.
You think they split Bowers out at all? Because that was some of the talk that he's valuable because you can play him at receiver. You're talking about weapons. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, watching him in college, like he was used like a wide receiver sometimes. I mean, as far as targets and catches, like, so I think that's a great point. And, you know, if a quarterback's worth 3, I mean, I feel like a tight end, you know, you're looking at maybe 1 or 2 based on that. But yeah, I was surprised to see Las Vegas drop in the over under for the wins. Yeah. And I mean, here's a surprise. The Saints now taking their time. We just ran through a bunch of picks real fast, and now we're starting to slow down.
So what do you think New Orleans does here? What do you think the Saints do here?
So, I mean, big needs, offensive tackle, wide receiver, cornerback. Again, no cornerback has gone yet. And a lot were projected to go in the first round. Maybe we start to see that happen. And once one cornerback goes, I think we start to see a run and maybe some trades, right? Because cornerback is also one of those positions that some drafts is so coveted. And once one goes, it just sets off that chain reaction.
And let's face it, you can never have too many corners. That's one of those positions where if you have premium talent there, that's going to get you wins in this league. I don't have a pick yet from any of my sources. I do hear that they are listening to trade offers at this pick. So, Chris, that was going to be one of your calls here. That might be the case. If that's the case, I think they probably wind this down to the end before making that final here. I'll keep you posted if I hear anything, though.
Yeah, and I just want to shout out the city of Detroit. I don't know if you saw this, Adam Schefter. There are 275,000 plus fans in attendance tonight, breaking the all-time day 1 draft record set in 2018 in Nashville. So Detroit now has the record for day 1 attendance at a draft.
Chris,
right behind us. Right behind us, guys.
I mean, it's insane. We had a couple chances to go outside and just experience what was going on. And it was, I mean, right behind us, stage, Pat McAfee, game day. It's insane. We have Mom Spaghetti by Eminem out there, all these different food trucks. I mean, it is a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah, they really did it up. I would second that, Chris. This city did an amazing job with everything. The decorations look great. They look clean. You know, we were saying earlier that every team, I think it was Aaron was saying that every team feels optimistic. This is one of those rare days in the NFL where every team feels optimistic. And I'll tell you what, we felt that when we were outside. We found the rest of the NFC North. We found Packers, Lions, we had Bears and Vikings, and we were all having a good time and smiling. Nobody was fighting or doing it. I mean, it was awesome. The city really did a great job. It's outside, and you're walking around at all of these different spots. There's food, and everyone's happy. It was really, really done well.
Yep. My fiance is from Wisconsin, took a picture with in between a couple of cheeseheads from actually a different country. I didn't ask where they're from. They had a little bit of an accent, but they were not from America. So the fact that, I mean, we're not just getting fans from the United States. We're getting fans from all over coming to Detroit. You know, I mean, it's just a great experience, the greatest time. I mean, you can't beat it.
Okay, so my source, the pick is in, according to my source, Thalys Fuaga at 14. New Orleans. So they get a tackle here, bolstering that offensive line. We'll see. We'll see if my source ends up making me look like a clown here. But that's what I got so far. If this ends up working out, we did have someone here that was saying that in the chat. Let me see who that was here. Someone called this even before my source did. Let's give credit where credit is due here. Was that Chris? Chris is a sharp guy.
So sources say they're picking up another offensive line.
Yeah, we're getting another tackle.
Okay.
Here.
Wow. You know, shout out Chase Young.
Here's the big board. You can see that this tackles the 5th best player on Field Yates's big board here. So it was Chris.
Even Field Yates is in the house here. But shout out Chase Young. Chase Young was reportedly in the building today. He is no longer on the Raiders. He is in San Francisco. So they did not pick up another defensive end. They're supposedly picking up another offensive lineman.
Let's see. Let's see.
In Dallas Turner, who I thought was going to go in one of the top 10 picks.
Me too.
Dallas Turner 8th in Kuiper's last mock draft.
And that's where I have
there's your fall right there
Yeah,
right now.
I
Dallas
agree.
Turner.
I agree.
Every draft.
And I mean, you know what that's a comment on? We have been told, and we've obviously been watching these kids for years here. We have been told how much offensive talent is in this draft. I think we set a record for QBs drafted in the first round. We talked about having all this wide receiver talent, some still on the board. The LSU kid, Thomas, still on the board here. So lots of talent. I guess in that regard, it's not so surprising to see some of these edge rushers fall or some of these defensive players fall, but there's still good players here. There's a lot of value to get. This draft's loaded.
And again, guys, the pick is in. We are waiting to see if Ryan's source is right there. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm a little surprised to see so few defensive players go. But like you said, Ryan, I mean, I think that just speaks to the offensive talent that there is this year in the draft.
And I think the other thing that's going to happen here is that when defensive players start to go, you're going to get a run, because I don't think it's as deep, and teams are going to realize we better get who we're after here, or we might be in trouble.
Yeah, I really think cornerbacks still, once they start to go, I mean, you're going to start to see those trades or those chain reaction moves.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's exactly what's going to happen here.
Is there another team upcoming that immediately needs a quarterback? We haven't seen Penix Jr.
No, Penix went to
Penix is gone.
Yeah, that was the one that really surprised. I know that's why you forgot, but that's the one that surprised the hell out of everybody. They got two quarterbacks down there. They're going to run some newfangled 2 QB offense.
Okay.
I mean,
All
this is wild. All right, let's see. We're going to have another guest picker here for the Saints. Looks like. Drum roll. All right, so the source is really putting in work today. This is great. So what do you think of this pick? Saints bolstering the offensive line early.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was their biggest need in most mock drafts was, offensive line. So I think it works.
And this kid's a beast. Oregon State, not one of the teams that's very highly watched. This kid's an absolute people mover. We're showing some clips right here. This guy just blows holes out. If you're trying to establish a run game and you want to run between the tackle and the guard, this is a really, really great pick for the Saints. We'll see if we take some of that pressure off of the throwing. Dennis Allen, I mean, they're still got Kamara, right? So they're probably trying to revitalize that here, get back to the run game. I think that's probably smart in that division too. So we'll see. Okay. Another tackle here. What do we got next? We got the Colts next. We got the pride of Patrick Lane. We got his Colts coming up here.
Yeah, and I mean, Indy, Ryan, and Jacob is one of those teams that has cornerback listed as one of their top needs.
There you go.
I mean, this could be where we start to see those corners go.
I think you're right. So corner, last year we made a big deal about some of the corners. This year, who do you have, Chris, at the top of your board at corner? Is it Kool-Aid?
I don't think it's Kool-Aid.
Okay.
I mean, you've got Arnold, you've got Arnold out of Alabama, you've got Mitchell from Toledo. There's one of the guys from Iowa, and I mean, so Alabama's got 2 corners. I think Kool-Aid actually probably goes second of them.
Okay.
And I mean, as a Lions fan, I think Kool-Aid could be there at 29th if they draft there, and they need a cornerback. So that's something I'd be okay with. Later on, but
you got a clip for us? We got a clip from Patrick Lane I'm hearing. Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's roll it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mitchell could be the one. I think that's a good pick for them. So
sorry, Patrick, you can't have a Odunze. Okay, I'm done here. Let's see. Chris, it looks like you were right on there with the cornerback. Let's see if we actually get that. I'll ask I'll ask my source here. Let's see if I can get anything for us. Tell you what, it pays to make friends, folks.
Yeah, and if you're watching live on NFL Draft Day on ESPN, the cut right now may look like they are on ground level. They are actually on the third level of the stage above the Pat McAfee show, above another level. I'm not sure what's on the first level, but it makes it look like they are right on ground level there with Saban and ABC.
We're hearing no sound or video. I have it here. I have it here, David. So I think that's maybe just a delay here.
Do we still not have a defensive player taken?
Nope. That's a new record, isn't it?
Schefter just said that is a new record. 14 picks, all offensive players. And again, Dallas Turner sitting there. And Seattle now, right, is going to be on the clock after Indy. And defensive tackle, linebacker, and edge are all needs for them. And I mean, Ryan and Jacob, like Seattle's going 16th. And in their wildest dreams, could they have thought that they would have their pick of any defensive player that they wanted in this year's draft?
No, and you know what? That actually makes me wonder if they kind of reprioritize, right? Because I think they have to think at least one of those edge rushers is gone by 15. Turns out they're both still available. So you know what? Maybe you have them doing a debate here between cornerback and edge rusher. Honestly, for the Colts, I think they'd be helped by either of those. I don't think you can make the wrong pick if that's what you do here. But yeah, we'll see here with the Colts. Still nothing yet. I'll let you know if I get anything. No
you guys
sound.
are talking about defense here. You know, I mean, who is their tight end?
Mo Alley Cox.
They need a tight end. They need a weapon.
Well said.
Yeah, I don't know if we see, another tight end go here in the first. I don't know.
Okay, so here we go. My source telling me that the offensive player run is over, and the Colts will take UCLA pass rusher Laiatu Latu. Let's see if that is what goes here. He's supposed to be a stud. Didn't he have back or neck? Probably had some injury problems before. I can't see what you're trying to show me there. But in any case, I can't tell honestly what Jake Crandall's doing here. He's been a wild card all day. Here's the thing though. I think that this is going to be a good pick. I hope that this kid is over his injuries. When he's on the field, he's an absolute stud. He really gets around the edge very, very fast. He closes the speed to the quarterback fast. Colts clearly need some edge rushers, so let's see here.
Yeah, and again, guys, the pick is in. We're just waiting to see for sure who it is. But yeah, I think defense would definitely not be a surprise here. And still not a lot of trades happening either.
And in fact, that's actually what I'm discussing here. Really cannot believe it. Okay. I just read a very inappropriate Caleb Williams joke. That was quite funny. Okay, let's see what the Colts end up doing here. And then we'll see what that actually forces Seattle to do. Because like you said, they might have their pick of players here. I mean, Jared Verse and Dallas Turner still on the board.
Yeah. And there was a competition, to see which one of them was going to go first. I saw mock drafts having, either or, and they're both sitting there now for Seattle potentially.
I mean, a lot of the mock drafts that I saw had Dallas Turner going with the Falcons.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I had. That's what I had in mind. Yeah.
Right there. It's, a lot of depth in this draft and a lot of strong players still on the board. I don't know if it was confirmed either, Ryan, as a Chicago fan. Benzinga may have confirmed first, unofficially. Caleb Williams was wearing painted nails, silver.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. I mean, we've been breaking news. That we're no stranger to breaking news. Let's face it. I mean, that's all we do here at Benzinga between our entire team here. So I'm really excited that we were able to participate.
You may not be able to hear again here, but I mean. When he gets up on the stage, there is a lot of booze. A lot of booze outside for some reason.
It's customary to boo him now. Latu. Okay.
So there's the defensive player off the board. I mean, again, at 15. And now Seattle, though, still. You got lots of weapons available on defense.
And Seattle, Chris, I think you're exactly right. I think Seattle's got to go defense here. Remember, you went Jackson Smith and Jigba last year. Looked like he really started to come on in the second half of the season. He was, supposed to be just a couple of steps behind Maserati Marv. You got a good running game up there in Seattle already. You really need some defensive players. Chris, I think you're exactly right. I think they got to go defense.
And Ryan, since I know you love those Vegas odds, Seattle, another one of those teams predicted to regress. They won 9 games last year, 7.5 the over/under. And I mean, their point differential minus 38 last year, 25th most points allowed. So defense, I think it's a slam dunk.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a slam dunk, but to be fair, I thought Dallas Turner to Atlanta was a slam dunk, and that's I had to start calling sources because I got that one wrong. We'll see here if Seattle starts to go back.
I wonder if the competition between him and Dallas Turner inside the NFL was a little more tight than we thought, because you said 13 players are in person for the draft. I thought it was 16 players, but he's one of those 13 players in person in the draft. So, I mean, the fact that he's here and J.J. McCarthy wasn't in person at the draft, one of these top tier draft picks, maybe he thought that he was going a little earlier than he was, or that the competition between him and Dallas Turner was a little more tighter than the draft, and all these mock drafts would have let us know.
Yeah, that's a great point.
All right, so it looks like Seattle's on the clock here. Emmett, you want to come up here and start breaking down Jacksonville with your dad?
Oh yeah,
come on, let's do it.
Joel, you want to hop back up here? We can give Jake
For
a break
sure.
here. So guys, we have a special guest here.
Oh yeah, you want to sit next to your dad? Come on. Oh, I'm fine. It's too cool for dad.
Too cool for dad. We'll get Joel back up here.
Here.
I'll push this down.
So we're going to have Emmett, this is my son, joining us on the stream. He is a big Jaguars and Lions fan. We do have the Jaguars coming up here soon after Seattle, so we'll start to break that down here and see who they need. And we'll get Joel back up here. So hopefully everyone's enjoying this stream again. Let us know in the chat. Also, let us know who you think Seattle should be taking here. Joel.
Emmett. We're getting you up here. All right. We're going to get Emmett here. Emmett's in the 4th grade, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
And his teachers are watching. Hello, teachers. He will be getting his homework in on Monday or Tuesday?
Monday.
Monday. Okay. And
Yeah.
yep. All right. He's going to get the microphone on here or the headset on. And who are you for Halloween?
Trevor Lawrence.
Talking to the mic there, buddy. You were Trevor Lawrence. You got the Trevor Lawrence do.
Yep.
So if you were a swimmer, I would say, you got to cut your hair, but you want to be a football player. But let's talk football here. Why do you like Trevor Lawrence so much?
Not gonna lie, I really don't know.
Okay.
Emmett, why do you like the Jaguars? What's the story behind the Jaguars being your favorite team? Tell Joel.
Okay, so the story behind the Jaguars being my favorite team is, so on my first ever football card pack I opened, I pulled 3 Jaguar cards, and now that's just why I like them. And
If the Jaguars played the Lions in the Super Bowl, who would you cheer for?
Jaguars, definitely.
Okay. All right.
Also, he would make Dad buy Super Bowl tickets if that happens, Joel.
Okay.
Yeah, I would.
All right. So let's get down to the nuts and bolts here. I believe the Jaguars made the playoffs 2 years ago.
Yep.
Right? They pulled the big upset, the big comeback against the San Diego Chargers. I remember that. Now, a little bit of a rough year last year, right? They didn't make the
Yeah.
playoffs. That was a little bit disappointing. So what do they need? I mean, Trevor Lawrence, good quarterback. They're not going to go quarterback. Are you thinking defense?
Yes, I think they're gonna take a cornerback, and no team has taken a quarterback, but I feel like I'm gonna jinx it right now. I think that they're gonna take a cornerback from Toledo. His name is Quinn Young Mitchell. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Okay. I mean, playing in the Mid-American Conference, I mean, not going against as tough a competition, is that something that concerns you a little bit? Or, you
Eh,
think the MAC, am I kind of overdoing things here? And what do you like? Does he got some speed? What do you like about him? Has he got some size? What any particulars that you like about him?
no, I just think that he would be good for the team.
Okay. But besides Trevor Lawrence, who's your favorite player on the Jaguars?
Oh, that's tough. Are we going like all time or right now?
Well, first let's go all time. That's probably what, about 10,
Okay.
10, 11 years for you?
Okay, so all time besides Trevor Lawrence, I have to go with Fred Taylor.
Oh, the running back.
The running back.
Wow, you're pulling that one out. Okay. And what about on the team now besides Trevor Lawrence?
It's really hard.
Okay. All right.
What about like Evan Ingram?
Either Evan Ingram or Travis Etienne.
Okay.
I'll go Evan Ingram on that one.
Okay. All right. And Travis Etienne, he's a Clemson running back, right? So
Yeah.
they got a Clemson quarterback, they got a Clemson running back here. You're thinking they need to go a little bit of defense. Do we have the
Mhm.
pick? Is the pick in yet here? No, we're still selling stuff on TV. So you think it's going to be enough to get the Jaguars back in the playoffs next year?
Yes.
You do. You
Yeah.
do. Okay. All right. All right. So we got them. Besides we've talked about your favorite players. Do you have a favorite play from the last couple of years? Something that sticks out in your mind from the Jaguars?
No, they're all really good.
You like all the plays.
Uh-huh.
All right. And Travis Lawrence, do you think, I mean, did he get banged up a little bit this year? You don't think they need any help on the offensive line? So you're going defense. Is there any other cornerbacks here? What about do you follow Cooper DeJean at all? He's a
No.
quarterback from Iowa. He's got tremendous speed. He's a punt returner. Also, have you I don't know, this is a kind of higher level, but have you they're changing the kickoff rules. Have you read anything about that? So you're gonna need better punt returners and kick returners. So that's where Cooper DeJean may be coming in. But that's what we got here. We got a long commercial break.
Lots
here.
of commercials now.
Do you, are you now? You kind of you've gone off the beaten path with the Jaguars. Are you a Tigers fan?
Yes, I'm probably going to the Tigers game on Saturday.
Oh, wait. I don't know if you were supposed to say that, but
Joel's breaking more news. That's what we do at Benzinga. Break the news.
Breaking news. Okay. All right. And all right. So what about now? This is hard. I mean, we're digressing here, but are you a Pistons fan?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's kind of tough to do. So, all right. We are here in the Motor City. There is an aerial view of the Motor City. The Seahawks are up here. Did we get off in our order here? Because we have
we got Seattle first and then Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just talk about the Seahawks real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I think Seattle goes defense here. There's so many good defensive players still on the board. You got Dallas Turner, you got Jared Verse, and so again, thinks Jacksonville is going to take a cornerback, and Joel, I think they're going to have their pick of cornerbacks there because we haven't seen one get picked yet.
And where are we at on defense? I'm losing track here.
Only one.
One player.
One.
Okay. All right. So the NFL going offense oriented here. And now the pick is in here for the Seattle Seahawks.
Let's see.
Making a big move here, getting rid of Pete Carroll, longtime Super Bowl winning coach, for some new blood here. I believe who did they bring? They brought in a Michigan man. They brought in the Baltimore Ravens, Mike McDonald. So a defensive minded coach for the Seattle Seahawks. The quarterback, I just don't know about sticking with that quarterback that they've had for the last couple of years. He's put up some good numbers, but I don't know. I mean, this one is going to be a surprise here. We will see what the Seattle Seahawks are doing. Did you know that Seattle is one of the loudest stadiums?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, you can barely hear yourself talk. Roger Goodell at the podium in the Motor City.
Let's see who it is.
All right, the pick is in, and
Dallas Turner, I'm going to guess.
Byron Murphy going. So defensive
Okay.
tackle, but yeah, a little bit of a surprise there, I think.
All right, let me check. Let's see if I got some stats here on Byron Murphy. Of course, his team making it to the semifinal in college football, losing out to Washington here. So Seattle going a little bit to the defense. I think we do have a clip here of Byron Murphy of Texas. I thought I got a clip for him here. So we are behind the scenes. We're going to get a look at this guy is massive. He's a big player. He's going to be playing on that defensive line. What do they used to call that Seattle defense when they were real good? Didn't they have a Thunder, or what am I trying to think of here?
Oh, no.
No, it might be a little bit before your time.
Well, I know the Vikings had purple people ears, but
Oh,
there you go,
Steelers
Joel.
had
There's some
steel
vintage.
curtain, but I didn't know the Seahawks.
Was it the Legion? Were they the Legion one?
Legion of Doom. Thank you for the same. Chris Kachi here with the save. Here you are. You're seeing we are seeing this big defensive tackle.
Oh no, look who's on the clock.
Who is on the clock?
Oh, come on.
Minnesota's on the clock. So
Didn't the Jaguars trade with the Vikings last year, too?
Yeah, so Jacksonville must have traded. They traded last year?
Yeah, to the Vikings. I'm pretty sure they traded a lot last year. So.
Yeah, so it says Vikings now have traded up to the Jaguars spot at number 17. I haven't seen the details of what they're getting. I mean, Joel, I kept saying there weren't a lot of trades, and now here we are.
Yeah.
We get Emmett on the stream, and the Jaguars trade their pick.
Hey, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, also, you want to know who Byron Murphy Jr. reminds me of?
Who's that?
Tony Brackens. He was a player for the Jaguars for a couple years. He was drafted in 1996. He played for Texas, too.
Oh, okay. There's some good statistics there. It looks like you got a future in NFL draft here. What'd you take here being in the Motor City? It's just being in the draft. Have you ever been in downtown Detroit before?
We've driven through it, but we've never been like in a building or something.
Okay.
I haven't, at least. But...
Okay.
Emmett, I've got the trade breakdown here, okay?
Okay.
So the Vikings get number 17.
Okay.
The Jaguars are going to get number 23 in the first round. They also get a 5th round pick this year,
Okay.
and then a 3rd pick next year, and a 4th round pick next year. So they're
Ooh.
getting a decent haul here for
Okay.
moving back 6 spots.
I wish it was Justin Jefferson, but it's fine.
Okay, here we go. Minnesota Vikings. Is that they're making the pick? Dallas Turner, who's been sent from Alabama, been sitting in that green room for a long time. That's a nice suit. There we go. Dallas Turner podium. We have Dallas Turner. You see him making another great tackle there against Ole Miss. So another Bama player goes. So how many Alabama players have we had taken so far?
Quite a bit.
Yeah, we've had a
Yeah.
few, and I mean we still have 2 cornerbacks from Alabama potentially going in the first
Yeah.
round. So I mean there's more to come as well.
Oh, and I forgot to say, but for the Jaguars, if they do pick a quarterback, which they will, they might get Kool-Aid McKinstry, Nate Wiggins, Quinn Mitchell, and who did you say again?
From Iowa, Cooper DeJean.
Yep.
Cooper DeShawn.
So, I mean, if we were drafting by names, I mean, don't you think the number 1 player in the draft would be Kool-Aid McKinstry? A little bit of information on him. He did have an injury, right? At the end of the season. So that kind of has hurt his draft stock. They're talking about him maybe not having the speed to play, the man-on-man defense. Maybe move him back to a safety.
And Joel, I just want to say we do have Cincinnati on the clock
We
now.
do,
I
we
think
do.
we've got a
Okay.
special, so I'm going to hop down with Emmett for a minute and let you
Okay.
introduce our guest here.
Okay. All right.
What?
There we go here.
I can't stay up.
Okay. All right. You can stay up with us.
Okay.
Holy macro. Who do we have? None other than Ryan Dietrich, better known as Statman Do. Oh, he is all geared up.
Hey, guys.
Look at this. Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
I'll let you know after the pick, but I'm happy to be here.
Okay. You got the gear on. You got the background.
Yeah.
I talked to you a couple weeks ago. You wanted Brock Bowers. They didn't make a trade.
Yep.
What does Statman do? What do the Bengals do now to protect Joe Burrows?
Well, I don't know if they're going to protect Joe Burrow. I don't think they're going to go offensive line. I think it's one of those big D tackles. I mean, I wanted Bowers. Although Kool-Aid, you mentioned Kool-Aid sitting there, so that's interesting. But I think they're going to go D line. We'll see. We'll see. Offense should be okay. Defense needs a little help, so we'll go that route. But it's a shame Bowers got away from us, but it is what it is, right? It's the draft.
All right. So who are your defensive line prospects? Who do we have left on the board here? Defensive line. What do you think about Chop Robinson from Penn State?
Yeah, I like him. I know. The Sweat guy from Texas was one that Vontez Sweat, I think's his name. He's been rumored with the Bengals a little bit. Chop Robinson, I like him too. I mean, the bottom line, you're right. If you can protect the quarterback and get the quarterback, you're in good shape. I know, the Bengals, their line played better the second half of the year, I guess, offensive line. So I don't think it's more the defense. So we'll see, right? I mean, it's we'll see. D-line.
What about you got this defensive tackle out of Illinois? I believe I think it's Jerzon Newton. I call him Johnny Newton. He's a big defensive tackle. He's got big dimensions. What you reading on that? I mean, you seem pretty convinced, Ryan, that they're going defensive tackle. Where were the Bengals? I know you know your stats. Where were the Bengals ranked statistically? Really?
Stopping the run, I mean, terrible, like 30th or 31. And last I checked, that's about 32 teams. That's why, they kind of need to do this. Hey, listen, I'm a Big Ten boy also. So if the Illinois guy's a Big Ten boy who can play, I like it. And the way everybody transfers everywhere, I don't know if he spent all his whole career at Illinois or not, but nonetheless, I think that's the way to go. They have to stop the run. They could not stop the run last year. Believe me, they went 9-7 last year, or 9-8. 9-8 last year, I guess. And Burrow was healthy probably for 3 games. So you think about that. Now next year they're saying the Bengals are one of the easier schedules, so they can stop the run. Burrow's healthy. Believe me, we all hope this time of year, but on paper maybe they could be okay.
Ryan, to that point, 9-8 last year. The Vegas line has them winning 10.5 next year. I think that's a great point with Burrow getting hurt. So you think 10.5 is? You think over next year?
I mean, look how I'm dressed. So of course I'm going to say yes, but I know last year they had a really tough schedule because they were good the year before, and you had now next year in theory. Now I know schedules can't change, the teams you're playing, but they have one of the easier schedules. They were last place. They were last place in the division, that every team had a 500 record. So they got beat up, but the key is your quarterback, and of course Burrow's played 4 years, been season into injury twice, so we gotta keep him upright. But the 2 times he made it, they made the Super Bowl and AFC Championship. So it's pretty simple: keep him upright, but stop the run. They do those 2 things. Hey, like our chances.
How are you guys at quarterback? Who do you guys? I mean, if you want to stop the run, you always need to lock down cornerbacks, right? Yep. If they're not falling back, in a defensive pass situation, a lot of times the runs go to the outside. There's still some good cornerbacks on the board. Is that tempting to you, or are you guys stockpiled at the cornerback position?
You could probably never have too many good cornerbacks. I that is probably a good way to put it. Boys, who's this? We drafted a guy from Michigan in the second round last year. I forget what was his name. DJ Turner. He was a rookie last year. He was good. Mm-hmm. CTB. What's his name? Cam Taylor-Britt was really, really good last year. So we do have some corners that are young, and you can never have too many good corners. So that's another option. I think defense is probably the way they're going to go. Put it that way.
Okay. All right. We are
pick is
look.
in.
Yeah, the
Pick
pick
is in.
is
Let's hear it.
in.
I'm probably wrong. Let's go offense. Yeah.
No, no, but if you don't going back to the financial markets, I know we have a couple thousand people on Twitter
Yeah.
following us right now. Ryan is a great follow on Twitter. Ryan at Ryan Dietrich is his handle. If you want to learn a little bit more about the financial markets, you should follow Ryan Dietrich. He doesn't give opinion; he gives statistics, and he's given us some statistics here on football. Joining us here, you are in Cincinnati, Ohio, right? Correct?
That is
That is your
correct. On the
hometown?
yeah, I'm from Springfield, Ohio originally, but I'm a Southwestern Ohio boy at heart. So been a Bengal fan my whole life.
Okay.
Springfield, Ohio. Isn't there a Hall of Fame there?
No,
No,
I don't
That's
think so.
Canton.
That's
That's
Canton, Ohio.
Canton?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Canton
Oh,
is
they
the
We might have
Hall.
something in Springfield, but it's not a Hall of Fame. I don't know.
It's not the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Okay. And along with being the Bengals fan, Reds fan, correct?
Yeah, we like the Reds. Now, believe me, the Reds haven't been very good. Although I think they lost today, so they're 14-11. I think as we sit here. So who knows? Maybe the Reds will put it together. But yeah, we like the Reds too. But they've obviously struggled for a long time.
Real quick. I know you're a little bit younger than me, but can you name the Big Red Machine, right? The great teams of Sparky Anderson. Can you name every starting player on that team?
No, I don't think I could. I could probably. Yeah, I mean, you've got bench, right?
First base. Who was first base?
Was it Foster? Foster was
Tony
Foster?
Perez.
Okay. So Doggy was there. So second was Morgan. Third was Concepcion. Third, I guess Pete Rose. And Pete Rose played. He bounced around. So Foster's in the outfield. Geronimo's in the outfield, and King Griffey Senior's in the outfield. And your catcher was Johnny Bench, and that's it, right? I think I did all right.
Yeah, you did okay. You missed the Tony Perez.
Yeah.
I believe.
I knew he was on the team. I didn't know what position he was.
And a couple of the pitchers. Was it Jack Billingham?
Billingham and Gullick, I think was his name. Those are two of the pitchers.
Don
With that
Gullick?
lineup, it didn't matter, right? You could give up 9 runs, you'd score 10 with that offensive lineup. So yeah.
Fred, yeah, great George Sparky Anderson coming to the Motor
Yeah,
City.
yeah.
Our last World Series in 1984. That's been a long time. But
Now, the Reds in 1990, I guess, was our last one. So yeah.
wow. Okay, so here we are.
Here we go. Something's happening.
Yeah,
Here
we have Roger Goodell.
He's at the
Santiago.
board.
What do you say? What you got a call on this one, Amin?
Me?
Yep.
I don't know.
Here.
Okay.
Okay. They did go defense. They went with Amarius Mins. We got Amarius.
Well, I told you
Mins.
to tackle. There
Yep,
you go.
Yep.
I thought defensive tackle. I don't know much about him, but I know George. The Bengals historically have had a lot of success drafting Georgia players. I mean, AJ Green was one, and there've been more. So hey, maybe we got another big defensive tackle coming to us from a school that obviously has a lot of winning and has done well. And hey, just stop the runs. Hopefully, that's the guy that'll do it for us.
Okay. All right. Ryan Dietrich joining us here on the Benzinga NFL Draft live show. I'm not. You got something you want to add, Evan?
He's not a defensive tackle.
He's an offensive tackle. My boys are yelling at me. Sorry, I made a fool of myself. He's an offensive
Joel, I
tackle.
did that
There you
earlier.
go.
This screen is so hard to read. OTDT. So yeah, offensive tackle.
Offensive
I'm not
tackle.
crazy about that because he's what, the 4th or 5th or 6th.
Yeah,
one?
there's been a
Hopefully
lot.
you guys are
Ryan,
wrong.
that's a
So,
great point. I mean, they're going deep now in offensive tackles.
They
So
really are. I thought some other players would be there.
with
so,
all
hey,
that defense still on the board,
amazing.
I don't know.
They wanna be protecting.
I mean, again, like we said, to keep Burrow upright, you
Yep.
know, that's the name of the game. So it's hard to disagree there. But I guess I was still hoping for defense. But I'm still a fan. So hey, there's still more rounds to go, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, they always can make a trade.
And how about my
and-
you like this? My Corey Dillon jersey. I was at the game 1997 when Corey Dillon broke the all-time rushing record as a rookie against the Houston Oilers. So I was at that game, and I was at the game when he broke the all-time record for one game. I think it was in 299 against the Denver Broncos. He broke he had like 260 or 70 yards. It's since been broken, but I was at both those Corey Dillon games, so we were terrible back then. But I visited old school Corey Dillon jersey. Don't see these every day.
Okay. All right. That was great. We had Ryan Dietrich on the line from the Carson Group, giving us some good statistics, some great information here on this NFL draft. Ryan, it's a pleasure having you. We'll be there we go.
Wait
He's
there.
got the Bengals paw
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
there we go.
I'll wear
Ryan,
this next time I'm on your show. How's that sound?
yeah, that's hey, you know what? We're casual, man.
That's
We're not the CNBC crowd. You can wear whatever you want. And since you're such a good guest, I'm not gonna say go blue.
Kind of did. I'll tease. All right, guys. We'll see. I
Thank you,
appreciate
Ryan.
it.
Thanks
Have
for
a great
joining
time
us.
up there. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks
Okay,
for joining us.
Yep, thanks for joining us. Okay. All right. After messing that one up, Chris, I'll let you take the lead here a little bit. What do we got on the clock?
So we got the Rams on the clock. And I mean, again, Joel, this is a team looking at lots of defensive needs. Aaron Donald retired. I would say that might be a need, right? To replace,
Yep.
although no one's going to replace Aaron Donald. You're going to need to get some bodies in there for that. So, I mean, they need defensive tackle. They need edge. They also need cornerback. We still haven't had a cornerback drafted. So, I mean, I think there's lots of options here for him.
Okay, projected here, the fans' picks. What I have here is Johnny Newton. He's a defensive tackle
Okay.
from Illinois. We talked about that. That's where Ryan thought that the Bengals would be going after a defensive tackle. They went to protect Joe Burrow here. So now we are looking. We only have 1 minute and 50 seconds, folks. And then I'm really looking forward to the next pick. We got a special guest coming on for a pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. A
Steelers.
special guest coming on. Everybody in the Motor City will know this guy. He is a fun guy to listen to on the ticket. But right now, 1 minute and 29 seconds left with the loss.
Pick is in,
The
Joel.
pick is
Pick's
in. Ram team needs edge, cornerback, defensive tackle, wide receiver, Matthew Stafford. We all know about him, the former Detroit quarterback, going out to the Rams, getting the Super Bowl win, and then coming to the playoffs here in the Motor City, losing to our Detroit Lions. What are their needs? They said they need what? Wide receivers? Don't they have that real good
Puka
wide
Nacua.
receiver?
Puka
Yeah, they've
Nacua.
got Cup and
Cooper Kupp.
Nakua. Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think even if you need a wide receiver here, I think defense. I mean, I think wide receiver is a lower need
Yeah.
than all those other positions.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like the Bengals. They need a wide receiver, but they need other stuff more.
Okay, look at on the board here. We have your boy here, still on the board.
Yeah.
Quinion Mitchell is on the board. We
Luckily.
also Troy Fatnu and a couple defensive players, folks. People have really been gone offense, a very offensive oriented draft here, as opposed to defense that supposed is to win games here. The Los Angeles Rams. I don't think Aaron Bree is Aaron Bree here anymore. He is a little bit sad. He used to be the St. Louis Rams.
Oh, Joel.
What happened?
I can't believe that you would say that. He must not have heard you out
He
there.
must not have heard me on that. Okay. Just a quick shout out to our producer, Aaron Thomas here.
What?
He has been here since he was here
All
till
day
5
long.
5 in the morning last night, back in here 7 o'clock this morning. Okay. He's been here around the clock producing. I've been throwing a bunch of stuff at him at once. He is still upright in that chair. He is bringing us our clips. Special shout out here to Aaron Thomas. Here we go. Los Angeles Rams. They are coming up. Roger Goodell coming to the podium here in the beautiful Motor City. And
All right,
What?
let's see. I think it's an edge.
you think it's an edge? You think they're going to go a little bit defense here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Rams fans, well,
There it is.
they-
Emmett, the
Emmett.
I
edge.
think this is exactly who I had in my mock draft.
Jared Verse.
Jared
I think
Verse.
it is.
Okay. All right. We're going to roll the clip here. Jared Verse here from Florida State.
Yeah, and I mean, Joel, you can see in the clip there, like he gets to the ball, he gets to the quarterback. I mean, I think that this is a good pick. And I mean, he was one of those edges where they said, you know, he could be the first one off the board or he could be the second one off the board. And here we have the Rams getting him at 19.
Can I give a shout out to a comment?
Is it a nice comment?
It's
Go ahead.
it's
Go ahead.
fact.
Go ahead.
So Chris Wood says this is the first time that the Rams have had a first round pick since 2016.
Really? That's right. Right. They traded the house to get.
Well, they had to trade a bunch to Detroit.
Yep, to
True.
get Matthew Stafford here. So, okay, all right. We now have the Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock here. We have a special guest here, David Hall Jr. He's better known as Hatchet on the ticket. How you doing, David?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good, good. I just want you to know that I'm Joel from West Bloomfield.
Nice to meet you, Joel. Nice to hear from you. I'm ready to talk draft, man.
NFL draft. What do you think about how the Motor City is handling 275,000 people?
That is amazing. That is a first day record for the draft here, and I'm glad that it's happening in Detroit. It looks beautiful seeing them on TV, seeing people outside. It looks great in Detroit right now.
Okay, longtime Steelers fan, right? I was a kid.
Yes.
As a kid growing up, I'm maize and blue. I fight with Valenti and Rico all the time. But as a kid, Mean Joe Green, Terry Bradshaw, I can name that entire defense here. The Steelers, Mike Tomlin, they
Steel
keep them.
curtain.
Right? What'd you say?
Steel curtain.
Yep.
Well, let's
Steel
hear from
curtain.
you, Hatchet. What are you thinking? What are the Steelers' needs? What are they going to do?
Well, here's the thing. They need some interior offensive linemen. They do need another cornerback to pair up with Joey Porter Jr. It would be nice to get another receiver. I'm just shocked at what the board is being right now for the draft. We've had so many offensive players going that Quinyon Mitchell is still sitting there. And I personally am a fan of Quinyon Mitchell coming out of Toledo, the cornerback. That's who I would want right now since he's available. But I also looked at Graham Barton, the center from Duke. You can get Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver from LSU. There's a lot there still on the board for the Steelers to select.
I think I actually had them taking Graham Barton in my mock draft. I think that's who I had.
See, things have changed. Graham Barton would be a great selection. We haven't had a great center since, the Pouncey kid. So, it's been a long
Mike
time.
Webster.
Mike Webster, yeah. Way back when, yeah. But he was great.
Okay. All right. And just real quick, I just got to ask you about the quarterback situation there. I mean,
Well-
what Russell Wilson, they bring him in, then they trade for Justin Fields, then they don't extend his contract here. What's Tomlin thinking at the quarterback situation?
Well, they're going to fight out for the position. Clearly, that's what they're going to do. And not taking the fifth-year option on Justin Fields means that he has a chance to win the job. That's what tells me Wilson does not have the job, and neither does Fields. They'll fight for it, and whoever wins it will get a year or two extension, I think, in the offseason. Russell Wilson was never my guy. Justin Fields has always been the guy I wanted them to go get, and they got two quarterbacks for less than $5 million. I'll take that. Fight for the job, win it, and now let's go win with Justin Fields.
How about if Fields doesn't work out at quarterback? I was thinking about.
Well, then we're moving on, and we're going to get a quarterback. We can't draft one. All the quarterbacks have been taken already. So we'll just have to get one next year. But I think Justin Fields will win the job. He'll be just fine in Pittsburgh. Yes.
What about moving into? I mean, and I just thought about this with his speed and his running ability. Any chance in his athleticism, moving him into a slot receiver, or that just doesn't happen in the NFL?
No, that doesn't happen anymore. You're not doing that. That's the Cordell Stewart type stuff. They don't do that anymore. Your quarterback, you're going to be the quarterback. You're not going to do this slot receiver stuff anymore.
Yeah, don't mention Cordell Stewart to me. I got some bad memories here of Cordell Stewart. How about just Mike Tomlin? I mean, just some quick comments on him. He's been around for a long time. A lot of patience with him. Were you happy with your choice for keeping him? I mean, come on, the guy does nothing but. I mean, has he ever had a losing season?
He has never had a losing season, and this past season was the year I thought we would, and he somehow found a way to still make the playoffs. I questioned him. I really did, going towards the middle of the season, wondering if he is still the guy to run the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. He clearly showed that. But making the playoffs with what we had at Kenny Pickett at quarterback, Najee Harris, really whatever it is with him, but he did this with a defense that was dealing with injuries. And he still made the playoffs, winning record. Yeah, he's still the guy to lead the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, you're sticking. Yeah, sticking. I mean, how can you fire a guy? I mean, how many teams would be knocking on his door if he was available? And just
Exactly.
the consistency. I mean, what Chuck Noll, right? All those years, Bill
Only
Cowher,
3 coaches in their history. 3. That's it.
and the Detroit Lions, man. That's like
That was
Pick
4
is in.
years.
the pick is
Yeah.
in. We got
Pick is
Hatchet. We
in.
got David
right.
Hall. He's a great radio personality here in the Motor City. A very unpredictable draft here so far. Michael Penix going real early. We know where the Steelers are stacked at the quarterback position. They have 2 guys battling out. They are now, well, the pick is in, but the ESPN heads are going to talk a little bit more here before we make the pick. Besides, I know you're your Steelers fan, Hatchet, but what about, I mean, do you stick with the Tigers? Do you stick with the Red Wings and the Pistons, or do your allegiances go elsewhere? And why are you a Steelers fan?
I am still all Pistons. I am still Wings. I am still Tigers. I am a Steelers fan. Began watching them when Jerome Bettis from the great city of Detroit joined the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then a few years after that, Barry Sanders retired for the Lions. There was no need for me to have a fandom with the Lions anymore. They hurt me too much. He left. I jumped on board fully on board with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And Jerome Bettis, number 5, correct? Was that his number? I believe he had a low number for Notre Dame. I can't remember for sure. I'm usually
I think it was
pretty good.
6 for Notre Dame.
Six.
I thought it was 6.
Okay, I was close, right? You know, horseshoes and hand grenades, but we got a little bit. We got a little break here as they are now handing out the Man of the Year
Cameron
award.
Hayward.
Cameron Hayward, his father, Craig Hayward, right? Ironhead Hayward played
Yes.
for the Saints.
Yes.
Cameron Hayward was Ohio State player, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Very much so. His brother still plays for the Steelers. He went to Michigan State. He's a fullback for the Steelers, his brother.
But very, 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 very athletic family here as they are making this draft. They are dragging this draft out here. Things really moved along quickly in the first round. I just got to get your take on this Michael Penix going so early in the draft, an older player, injury prone. What was your top? Were you shocked at that? I don't think anybody had that in their mock draft.
I was truly shocked by that. Going 8 to this Falcons after they spent so much money on Kirk Cousins. And I understand how contracts work. You could probably get out of the deal for Cousins in a couple years. But if you have him now, get weapons for him or get someone on defense to help you win now because you spent a lot of money on Kirk Cousins. I'm truly shocked. And I don't know why would he's gonna sit for a few years. It doesn't make any sense what Atlanta did there.
I at this point in the draft, I thought that if there was a trade, if there was something in the works, that they would.
That was the spot to do it. That was the
Yep.
spot.
Yep. So
They just picked Troy Fortune.
Troy Fontenot is the pick here.
The offensive lineman.
Guard from Washington. What do you think about that? Little surprise there, David.
I don't like that selection. I do not like that selection when you have all these defensive players left on the board. Quinyon Mitchell, Terrion Arnold, Cooper DeJean, Chop Robinson. You still had Graham Barton on the board. I am not a fan of this right now. Not happy.
Kool-Aid McKinstry still on the board, even though
Nate Wiggins.
Nate Wiggins still out there.
Yep. So they're a shocker here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and also, I mean, these Washington players. I mean, playing out in the Pac-10. I mean, they did make it to the championship game. Don't know about their performance here against my Michigan Wolverines here, but obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers here seeing something in this watch. I mean, Penix was on the run on that game
Yes.
quite a bit. I don't know if you want to
Yes.
give credit to the Michigan defense on that or whatnot, or the lack of the offensive line. But are you downtown here? Are you working for the ticket at the draft down here? And we're taking you away from your busy duties here, but I really appreciate it. I dialed you up and emailed you at the last second. You were kind enough to come on. This guy works with two characters, and Rico and Mike Valente, and that other crazy guy, Roberto. You got your hands full there, Hatchet. But
It's a fun time. It is a fun time.
yeah, great. I would have to say that even though you got two Michigan State fans in there, you guys got to have the best sports radio station, best sports program. I've been listening to the years. I listened to the ticket. I listened to WDFN. I've listened to Stoney and Wojo, Damon the Dog Perry, all these different people. The one thing that Valenti, he's a horse racing man, and I'm a horse
Yes.
racing guy. So I'm gonna dial you guys up real soon. Give you my Derby picks. So give my shout out to everybody at the ticket. Thank you so much for coming on, David. We really, really appreciate you joining us here at Benzinga, covering the NFL draft. 275,000 people. All your friends, David.
Thanks for being
That's a
here.
wild. Thank you for having me.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
David.
Okay. All right. So what do we got? What do we got up on the clock here?
Joel, we got the Dolphins.
Their pick is in
That was-
already.
that's-
And if you look behind us, you can see some people are leaving right now. Especially, I just saw lots of Steeler fans leaving.
Okay, because they had to pick in. Do we have Aaron Bree still in the house? Is he? Did he go home and get some sleep so he can show up for work on time? Okay, we'll get Aaron up here in a minute and help us out.
And Joel, we've got a special guest coming up here after Miami. We do have someone for the Eagles, assuming the Eagles, of course, keep that 22nd pick, and then Emmett, the Jaguars, at 23 after that trade. So
Hopefully, they can get Quinn Mitchell, but the Eagles, they do need a cornerback.
the
so-
Eagles do need a cornerback.
So it really scares me. And Dad, yesterday, I think it was earlier today or yesterday, you said that there was going to be lots of cornerbacks taken in the first round. But so far, I'm not like trying to be rude, but like most of them are probably going to be near the end. Like right now, there's going to be lots of cornerbacks being taken because there's lots of teams that need them. But I'm really scared Quinn Mitchell's not going to go to the Jags.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see what Miami does here. I mean,
Yeah.
Miami had a lot of injuries last year, Joel. So, I don't know how much we chalk that up. Some of these guys are coming off of like season-ending injuries, needing major surgery. What does that do to a player, Joel? And how much faith can you put in them? On the next season.
It's just a brutal sport. I mean, watching the players over the years getting bigger and stronger and faster. It's tough. And Tua, he has a hard time staying healthy. We still have Chop Robinson on the board here. He's projected to go to the Miami Dolphins in some of our mock drafts here. The pick is in for the Fins, the Miami Dolphins. Made the playoffs last year, correct? For the first time in a while, losing out in the first round.
Yeah, they are the team. Now that the Lions won, they're the team that hasn't had a playoff win in the longest time. Also, I want to give a shout out to all the people that are commenting about me knowing my stuff. So thank you guys.
Okay, you got.
Emmett loves the chat, guys.
Yeah. Well, at least some person gets nice comments in the chat.
You guys are getting nice comments. I'm seeing like Chris and Joel. You guys are great. Like,
oh, I see. I can read a comment there from 13. This young man is about to take some ESPN jobs. Shout out to 13. He's on live trading every morning with Benzinga. So what a great comment, and making Emmett's day here. So
Like, this was already the best day ever, and now you guys are just making it better. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And just going to the Fins here, the Miami Dolphins. Do you know that they're the only team that went undefeated the entire season?
Yep, I did know that, and won the Super Bowl because the Panthers and Patriots came close. The Panthers didn't win the Super Bowl, but they also lost again to the Falcons in the regular season, and the Patriots lost the Super Bowl to the Giants, which my uncle's girlfriend hates Eli Manning for that, and looks like they're about to announce the pick.
Okay, the Fins, we got Jay Woods on the clock with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Miami Dolphins, are they going to go defense, or are they going to go get some protection for Tua getting banged up, having to scramble? The Miami Dolphins.
There's that Chop Robinson pick, Joel, that you've been calling out. So.
Chop Robinson. Okay. Penn State, he's a big old boy.
He is.
Yeah, he is. No, he's edge. He's edge. Excuse me.
We do. I think we have a clip of him.
Do we? Do we? Let's go to that clip of Chop Robinson.
I can intro.
I'll let you run.
All right, yeah. I mean, from that clip there, Joel. I mean, you've been talking about Chop for a while. I want to get to Philly here. Philly's going to be on the clock. We do have a special guest joining us. We have Jay Woods. As soon as we get Jay on here to talk about the Eagles, I mean, Philly's one of those teams. They need a cornerback. And you know they might end up blocking Jacksonville here from getting their guy.
I really hope that they don't. And also, Joel, you are getting some good comments. Like, if you look, you see there's somebody said Joel Love, so you are getting good comments.
Okay, all right, thank you for that, Emmett. Okay, we rolled the clip. We ready to bring Jay on?
Yeah, let's bring Jay on here. All right, Jay, what's going on, my man?
Hey. Oh, not much. I'm enjoying the show. Emmett, you are crushing it tonight. You are crushing it. But I'm about to crush your hopes and dreams. Because if the Eagles don't take Quinion Mitchell here, I will be devastated. Cornerback has been in need. We haven't taken a cornerback in the first round since 2002. That was Lito Shepherd, as you can remember, obviously. And it's going to be interesting because we have a new defensive coordinator and we have a new offensive coordinator. We've done a lot in the offseason on the offense. This guy, Saquon Barkley, I hear is pretty good. We just signed him. The offensive line, yes, they're a little worried that it's getting older, and we lost the great Jason Kelsey to retirement. So Graham Barton of Duke is the best offensive lineman out there. I've heard that name in some Philadelphia chat rooms. If they go offensive line, or can Howie Roseman trade the pick? He has traded that pick 10 out of 13 years. Usually it's to go up, but he could go back because the three top corners are still on the board. And maybe he moves back a few spots and he settles for, Mr. Terrion Arnold of Alabama. You may have heard of Alabama, pretty good football team, or Cooper DeJean from Iowa. You got two players in great conferences, and then Quinion, who's the top-ranked guy out there. I mean, the guy can return punts, kicks. I don't know how that's going to work this year. I'm a little confused. Yeah, can you explain that? I watched it in the USFL, and I was confused.
I don't understand it. But Joel, you were talking about that earlier. That punt return and kick return might be more valuable this year.
Well, weren't they talking about like the kicker being back, but the players, the defensive players actually being closer
to the ball? I think, right?
Yeah, it's weird. I assume we'll get used to it, but I'm always suspect when it comes to changes something big as this. So we'll see what happens. But Emmett, what are you thinking here? What do you think is going to happen?
I think that they might get Graham Barton or draft a cornerback, but just not Quinion Mitchell. And also, you said the top three cornerbacks were left. All the cornerbacks are left, surprisingly.
Oh, yes, exactly. We can go to Clemson and look at Nate Wiggins. Not a bad choice, too.
True.
So this leads me to believe, seeing that this is a big need for the Eagles, how we may come back a little bit. And, he's got the 50th and the 53rd pick. We need linebackers, and we haven't seen a linebacker go off the board. Texas A&M has the biggest linebacker, and still Howie's waiting. There's still 2 minutes to go. He's going to wait till the end on this one. And then one of my favorite players, Marvin Harrison Jr., went to the same high school that I went to. And so did Jeremiah Trotter Jr. of Clemson, who's a linebacker that could go as high as the second round. As an Eagle fan, wearing my old Eagle jersey, I would love to see Jeremiah Trotter come back home and play for the Eagles.
Jay, I want to get back to what you said about, Jason Kelsey retiring. Also, Johnson's getting up there in age. So I know there's some concerns about that O-line. If it's you, cornerback or O-line, what do you think is more important for maybe not so much this year, but like the future of the team, and now with Barkley there as well?
Yeah, seeing that the depth of the offensive linemen, how many have been drafted already, my feel is if Howie really saw someone he wanted, he would have traded up. There was talk of trading up where Seattle was sitting at 16. It didn't happen. So the fact that they didn't trade up means that their guy is still on the board. And I think they're thinking defense, but I can look very foolish in 2 seconds when this pick comes in. And if we don't take Mitchell, then I hope your Jacksonville Jaguars do take him, Emmett.
Okay, thanks. Looks like the Eagles pick is in, and they're about to announce it. And also, fly Eagles fly. I cannot believe I just said that. But
Yes.
Jay,
my brother's an Eagles fan. Harrison, if you're watching this, shout out to you. But he probably isn't. He's probably asleep.
Yeah.
I'm only awake because I'm caffeinated. But but normally I'd say to him, cry Eagles cry. But since you're like a super fan, I have to say fly Eagles fly.
Well, I appreciate that, and I hope your brother is watching. How old's your brother?
He's actually 2 years older than me. He's 12.
All right. Wow.
I'm at this
Big 12.
Almost 12.
This is my buddy Jay Woods. When I went to New York and I got to tour the New York Stock Exchange, this is the man that made that happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Right,
remember all those
Emmett.
pictures?
Yeah, you have an open invite, Emmett. Next
What?
time you're in New York with Dad, you come to New
Okay.
York Stock Exchange.
Well, this is Jay Woods. He certainly knows the Eagles like he knows the markets here. And here we are. We have Roger
All right.
Goodell coming up to the podium. The Eagles just trying to overturn just a disastrous ending to the season last year.
Let's not talk about
Wow,
that.
Joel,
Okay,
wow.
That was awful.
No,
They were the
no.
best
I was about to
10-1 team in history, so I wasn't buying the Eagles at 10-1. But I didn't expect what happened at the end of the season, that's for sure. Well, they look very happy in the war room. 50 people to make this one pick, so this should be exciting.
All right. Roger Goodell's announcing it.
All right, Emmett, you tell me.
Here we go. The Eagles.
They select.
They're going to shock us with someone we haven't even discussed.
What are they doing?
I think we got a special
Trading down?
announcement again. I think I heard international.
Because they're playing in Brazil against the
Yep,
Packers.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
right.
Jay, I
I
got to ask you.
crowd, yeah.
I got to
Go ahead.
ask you. You guys traded for DeAndre Swift. Okay.
Also, St. Joe's Prep, Philadelphia, from my high school. I
Shout out.
love DeAndre
See?
Swift. Yep.
But now he's not with you anymore.
He's with the Bears. They got to steal. I was the one person that did not want to see him go. And while I'm happy Saquon Barkley's here, I think DeAndre Swift is one of the best and underutilized players in the NFL.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Let's
Here we
They
have.
still booing him? They still booing the commission?
No, they have one of the Eagles' offensive tackles selecting it.
Okay. Someone is
What do we got?
pretty happy here. We got some hugs here in the room. This guy.
Quinion Mitchell.
There
Jay,
it
you
is.
just
There it
ruined
is.
my kid's night. So
Yeah, I don't know
Emmett,
if this is
I'm
the best thing ever
sorry,
anymore,
pal.
but
Oh,
It's
well,
fine.
okay, well,
There's
you know
still
what?
more
Maybe you
corners on
can
the
be
board.
like your brother
Hopefully
and
they
root
can-
for the Eagles.
okay. But hopefully the Jags add to their Clemson players and draft Nate Wiggins, or they could get McKinstry, Cooper DeShawn. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Cooper
Mhm.
Cooper DeJean. Yep.
Yeah.
Iowa, very athletic player. So Jay, you came on.
Yep.
You set it up just like a trade setup. You did your
Yep.
homework. You did your analysis. What do you? I mean, the Cowboys. You're in with the Cowboys. Redskins got a new quarterback, and
They
James,
did.
what are your predictions for the Philadelphia Eagles next year?
As I predict every year, 17-0. I mean, why wouldn't I go that way? No, I think that with the new coordinators, Sirianni's job is kind of on the line. And he is the rallier, and he's got, Kellen Moore has done some wonderful things with the Chargers and the Cowboys before him. I think, barring any crazy injuries, they just locked up A.J. Brown for another 3 years. There was concern that he was going to go to New England because he switched his Twitter profile or his Instagram profile to Tom Brady. The offense is a juggernaut. Yes, they're going to lose a little bit on the offensive line, and they're going to need to get younger sooner. But right now, defense was the biggest Achilles heel. Your guy, Darius Slay, has not been playing up to his great big play Slay standards. And getting another quarterback like this young stud out of Toledo, I know they'll be critical because he only played at Toledo. But
That was my
everything
next.
I read about him, they're going to love him in Philadelphia. He is a worker, and look at that speed as they show him going to the house on a nice pick six. Hopefully we see that a lot next season.
Not concerned about the the level of play in the MAC. Is that any concern to you?
Yeah, I'm always concerned about that as a fan of the Patriot League and Fordham University. You always wonder if this guy is going to make it, but he crushed it in the combine. All the scouts had him number one on the board, and I got to trust their judgment. And Emmett liked him too. So there's another testament as to why we think this is a good pick. And it didn't matter who they picked. I was going to like it. That's what we do in Philadelphia. They're our favorite player until they mess up, and then we boo them out of town. That's how it works. So.
Jay, I just want to get your take here. I talked earlier about the sports book odds here. So Philly was 11-6 last year. The over/under for next year's wins is 10.5. Is that disrespectful?
No, that sounds about fair given where they were, the questions they have on defense. But and it's a tough opening game against Green Bay in Brazil. We'll see how they handle it. The NFC East should be a little bit better. The Giants get their quarterback back, but they lost that weapon in Saquon. I think the Eagles are going to be hungry for those two games. Washington, hopefully that's 2 wins. And I think Dallas is going to take a step back. Weren't they supposed to be like really aggressive in the offseason? They
did nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, Jerry Jones. I forget what he called it. I know Zuckerberg year of efficiency. Jerry Jones had his own thing in the NFL. And maybe they signed a punter that I missed in my notes. But Dallas, I will never say anything good about Dallas. That's what we do in Philadelphia. We hate them, and we hate
Don't
their
you guys
fans.
hate everybody in Philadelphia?
Santa Claus, he had it coming when we threw snowballs at him. Michael Irvin, true story. I was a season ticket holder back in the 90s when Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith just ran us over. And I was there when he lay dead on the turf field at the Vet. I won't say whether or not I cheered, but I did meet Michael Irvin at the stock exchange, and I made peace with Mr. Irvin. The only Philadelphia person that I need to make peace with is Ben Simmons, and I'm not ready to do that yet. What he did and what he's doing, just stealing money now from the Nets, it's criminal, but that's a different sport. And my Sixers won, so I got to watch the Sixers game, and I got to, God bless you, Emmett, and I got to come on and join you guys, and I can't be happier. And Emmett, is your pick in? Let's go. Can I stay here and watch Emmett's reaction?
You want to stay here and watch the Jags? Jay, we're having so much fun with you.
I'm just going to listen to Emmett's breakdown of this pick. Who do you think they took?
You want a corner, right?
Yes, I really want them to take a cornerback. So Nate Wiggins, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Cooper DeJean.
DeJean. Yep.
And then another guy.
And they're wasn't there the other Alabama guy? Is it Arnold?
Yeah, Terry and Arnold.
Yep.
It's going to be one of them. All right, here's the pick.
All right, we'll see if Emmett's
this is it, Emmett.
here.
Oh, and I only have 30 days to do my research, so. Oh, they picked a
Wide
wide
receiver.
What
I mean, they lost.
Whoa.
Hey, Emmett, they lost Kelvin Ridley. Is
Sure,
this?
they did lose Wrigley, but I saw lots of mock drafts having cornerbacks. Like every mock draft I saw, and Brian Thomas Jr. Like I saw him in mock drafts going really low, and one mock draft, and I saw one person had the top 5 receivers. He had Malik Neighbors at 1 and Brian Thomas Jr. at 2, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3. So I'm happy to have him. You know, he was really good. Really sad we didn't pick a cornerback though, and the pick was in like right away. So
They were convicted on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Brian Thomas. The only reservation I would have is when you have, someone like Malik Neighbors on, playing
Yeah.
opposite you. He's probably double teamed a lot, right? So,
Yeah.
the safety has to come over and cover, the deep route here. So, but Brian Thomas Jr., he has some speed. We got some highlights here of Brian Thomas Jr. Getting drafted. But we're just the Jags have another pick. They did the trade.
They did the trade, so that's it in the first round. And
Yeah.
I know we've got another guest coming up here, Joel. So Jay, I mean, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for all the nice things you said about my boy. It made his night.
Chris,
So
Joel, Emmett, great job. I'm gonna go watch
Thanks.
you now, and
Okay.
I'm gonna boo this Dallas Cowboy pick no matter what it is. So I can't wait.
thanks, Jay.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for being on the show, whatever it is. I don't know.
All right. I mean, we're gonna let Joel bring on our next guest here.
Okay. Yes, we have a knowledgeable sports fan, but here, what on my records here? I know we got Chris coming on for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
Are they now?
They're on the clock.
The Dallas Cowboys
Dallas
are on the clock.
Cowboys are on the clock, and Chris Wood has been killing it in the chat tonight.
I
Joel,
know.
with
Chris
knowledge,
Wood, our
so-
most valuable chatter. Let's
Yeah.
bring him in. Chris Wood. Chris, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for
Uh,
having me.
So, just overall, what are your thoughts on this draft here in 2024?
I would hate to be the general manager of the Atlanta Falcons right now. I
I would too.
you draft a backup quarterback with your 8th pick.
Yeah.
Nobody can make sense of that. I mean, I guess he can sit for 3 years while Kirk Cousins draws $100 million, and then start then. But that's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. So.
I
Luck to the
don't think
Falcons.
so either. I have never seen anything like it either. So, okay. So, America's team. Okay. You're here representing America's team. Jerry Jones, been there, general manager, owner, basically giving Mike McCarthy an ultimatum here, putting a lot of pressure on him. What are the needs? What are the wants? And what's Chris Wood thinking about the draft here for the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, I think they've been using the phone. They're trying to trade back. I hope they don't. I actually think this fell pretty nicely for them. Graham Barton is probably my pick here, center out of Duke. They lost their center this year, and I
I
think
actually
he's.
had Graham Barton going far back. If you heard me say that, then so I think that Graham Barton should have gone earlier in the draft. So if they do get Graham Barton, then it's probably a steal.
Yeah, I think so. Barton, and then Tyler Guyton would probably be my second pick. He's a freak.
Okay.
I mean, guy's like 6'8", runs a 4.5 40. He's incredible, but he's pretty raw. He doesn't have really good fundamentals, but he's a freak. So,
Did you guys lose some offensive line players to injury?
Yeah. Well, we lost, long time, Pro Bowler left tackle. He goes to the Jets in free agency. They let him go basically, and then we got Tyler Biotis was a center. He was an okay center. He wasn't the best, but they did lose him in free agency. So right now you're missing your center and your left tackle. Now Tyler Smith he played left tackle when our left tackle was out, and then he's been playing good at guard though. I think I'd like to keep him at guard. So if they go Guyton, they can move him left tackle. and keep Smith at guard. If not, go Barton at center and make this work. But Barton's just too valuable. I can't see him passing up. But I know Dallas, they like to stack these picks, so I would imagine they're on the phone. And they did give up a 4th-round pick, if you remember last year, to get Trey Lance from San Francisco as a backup quarterback. Their 3rd-string quarterback, by the way. So
who's the 2nd string?
Cooper Rush.
So where are you at on Dak Prescott?
I think he's a fantastic leader. I think he's a great guy, and I think he's a top 10 quarterback, probably at 10. He's got to prove it. He's got to prove it in the playoffs. And here's the deal: the Cowboys kill they crush the weak teams, and they've got enough skill players to do that. And the defense last year just fed off of those weak teams. But man, when they go against a tough running team like San Francisco, Green Bay, it was hard. And the defense was actually weaker than I think we thought. They were small at linebacker. So I think that's another thing that maybe in later rounds, maybe 2nd round or 3rd, I can see them getting bigger at linebacker because I think they're going to have a different scheme this year.
Okay. All right. And then Tony Pollard, running back. I mean, running backs are just not coveted in this draft.
Yeah, Chris, that's my question for you, right? As they lost Tony Pollard, you've got Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn as your top 2 running backs. We're probably not going to see a running back taken in the 1st round, but Joel's been talking a lot about our boy Blake Corum out of Michigan. When do you see Dallas drafting a running back?
I could see him in the 2nd round if Brooks falls to him, the UT running back, University of Texas. He had an injury, took him out last year that probably dropped him out of the 1st round, but he's probably one of the most talented running backs, if not the most talented running back in the draft. So I could see if he falls to Dallas in the 2nd round, I could see them taking Brooks at that time. I don't know if he'll make it. He definitely won't make it to the 3rd round, but I could also see if they don't get him then, maybe 3rd or 4th round, then get. I actually think Carson would be somebody that's on their list. So I do think they will get a running back in this draft. And also, you remember, in June, there's always the salary dump, right? If they cut veteran players, it doesn't count as much on the salary cap. I would be surprised if Dallas isn't waiting for cuts.
I want to go out there.
Oh, Chris, I got some news for you. The Lions just traded up.
Ooh, okay, we got some breaking news here on Benzinga, the Motor City.
I told you it was going to happen.
Oh, Chris, you called it. You called it.
Okay, the Motor City. A lot of people. We got people scrambling out of the office.
Yeah, we got people running to get outside. This place is going to go nuts behind us.
Okay, Aaron Thomas wakes up from his slumber here. The Motor City is on fire. The Detroit Lions, they're trading up. They're going to take a cornerback or the best available athlete here.
Xavier Worthy.
You think it's a receiver?
Worthy. Yeah.
Xavier Worthy.
I'm looking outside and I'm going to see people screaming.
Okay. All right. He is out here. The Detroit Lions making fans happy. Chris Wood on the line here, being calm, cool, and collected, thinking the Dallas Cowboys are going to stack their picks. Here we are. We are live in the Motor City. We are going to get the reaction. You're going to hear the roar of the crowd as the Detroit Lions, just a couple plays away from that Super Bowl, gets a tough game against the San Francisco 49ers. Brad Holmes threatened. He said, hey, we may trade out of this pick. He said, boy, Detroit might be disappointed if we don't take a pick here. Chris, what do you think? What do you think the Detroit Lions got up their sleeve here, trading with the Dallas Cowboys?
I think they've got him on camera right now. I think Arnold. I could see them giving him the cornerback out of Alabama.
They did a lot of homework on cornerbacks, so yeah, I think you're right here.
Yeah, I think this is.
There's actually not a lot of people because it is past 11, and the pick is in, so we're really close. So hopefully we can hear the roar, but we probably won't.
What news feed do you got there, Chris? What do you?
I'm just a DirecTV stream, so I'm just watching.
Yeah, man, oh man, I'm watching
that. And the Cowboys just switched picks, so they're on the 29th pick now. So
that's what my question was for you, Chris.
Yeah. I don't know what they got
to see what the return is. I'm curious how much Detroit had to give up. With so many cornerbacks still on the board, as a Lions fan, I hope they didn't give up too much to move up 5 spots.
Oh, they got a third round pick. They're getting a third round pick this year, and the 7th round in 2025. So that's pretty good for Dallas. If you're going to drop 5 picks,
5 picks
to get a third rounder, I'll take that all day long. I think it's a great trade for Dallas.
This is a flag football pick. There was one last year. There's flag football players. All right, let's see who they pick.
Looks like we got a little fanfare going on here. But Chris, I hope you do your homework in the markets like you do here on that pick with the Dallas Cowboys. So you don't seem to be disappointed at all. It's something that you had thought about. Now, so they only trade down
to take Barton, but you get a third round pick. I mean, third round pick. If you look at most teams who are doing well, it's not that everybody's going to win on their first round pick most of the time, unless you're Atlanta and you're picking a backup quarterback. But that's a different story. Or you're the Eagles and you pick receiver.
Chris, does that third round pick? I mean, does that factor in and give them that running back? Is that an appropriate time to take one there?
I think so, or a linebacker. Let's say or even another offensive lineman, because you really need 2. So right now Barton and Guyton are there. If they lose one in these next 5 picks, the other one's probably going to be there. And so they ended up winning in that situation. So then you get Brooks in the 2nd round, and then maybe a really solid linebacker in the 3rd, along with another offensive lineman. I think
Chris, you nailed it.
I was about to say Xavier Worthy or Terry Arnold, and they drafted Terry Arnold.
What, DirecTV? That's like, is that like a week ahead?
Chris, you got it right.
I mean, what is
I literally guessed on Detroit's pick. I knew they needed a cornerback, and I just happened to look up and see Arnold was in the green room.
Okay. I'm saying, man, oh man. You know what? He stole my suit. He stole my suit.
You were gonna wear that tonight.
I was gonna wear that tonight. My wife said, "No, you gotta." I usually wear Michigan stuff, Chris. You know that. I got my Detroit Lions here. So, Brad Holmes doesn't disappoint the Motor City. He makes a pick in the 1st round, moves up. They needed that help at cornerback. Unfortunate situation with Cam Sutton. They're losing a player. I think they signed him pretty expensive as a free agent. This guy the crowd is erupting here. You can hear the noise. What do you got for me, Emmett?
There's lots of people leaving, actually, if you look outside.
Yeah, they got their cheers in.
So many people were just cheering, and you could see them behind the stage. Yet look outside. They all just left.
Okay, let me turn.
They're leaving.
They are.
That's a big clump of people. That's more than there were Steelers fans leaving after the Steelers pick.
Okay, all right, Chris. You gave us a lot of great commentary there. I guess the last thing before we let you go, tough situation for Mike McCarthy. I mean, the coach under those kind of circumstances. I mean, basically, Jerry Jones is saying, I'll bring Bill Belichick in on a whim. That usually don't see mid-season changes in NFL football. They usually, if they boot the guy, they do something interim here. I just wanted to get your take, on the coaching situation for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and it's never good for any coach to be in the final year. They rarely get to the final year. They either get fired like year 2 or 3 in a contract, or they get extended. And so that's rare. So that is unfortunate. I don't blame Jerry because he hasn't been able to do much in the playoffs, but I mean, he has got a fantastic regular season record since he's been there. So I do think they're watching it. The real question is Dak. They haven't re-signed Dak, and that you got your quarterback and your coach basically on the final year. And I not re-signing Dak or extending Dak, it's a pretty big hit to your salary cap this year. So that's probably speaking more than even McCarthy. To me, now it could play out. I mean, Dak could go off and have a great year. They can be in the Super Bowl. Now you're really going to pay Dak, right? Then you're going to pay him way more than anybody else in the league. So,
So so it's not about what you just said. I just saw this comment 13. This is not a nice comment, but it's not aimed at anybody. It's aimed at a football team. It's yeah, they're leaving because the Packers are next. Which I think that might be true, but who knows?
Yeah,
Chris,
go ahead.
I got a question for you here. So Dallas went 12-5 last year. The Vegas betting odds 10.5 wins. Is that in line? Is that disrespectful to your boys or what?
No, I think well, I mean, you think about it. I don't know I haven't seen, what the schedule is going to be like this year. They got everybody. They didn't. I mean, they lost the lineman that we're talking about, and they've lost their defense coordinator, who's now with Washington. So, I mean, that's your big holes to fill. I mean, they're talented. I mean, the talent is there, skill level positions, all that. So I think 10+ wins is fine. It's always about the playoffs for Dallas. It's not about the regular season. I think they're going to be fine. I think they'll make the playoffs, whether they either win the division or, get a wild card. But to me, Dallas, Jerry's going to make this all about you get me to the championship game. I think anything short of the championship game is not going to go well. And that's hard standards for any team. I mean, there's a lot of teams that haven't made the playoffs in a long time. So, but it's just different in Dallas, and it always has been. And a lot of pressure. So,
okay, Chris Wood, a frequent listener to the Pre-Market Prep Show, frequent contributor in the chat, and seems like he knows football, like he knows the financial markets. So, Chris, we kept you on for an extended time here. I know you're a little bit earlier on the clock, but we really, really appreciate you coming on. Great insight. Great call on Dallas making the trade. Just happened to be on for the highlight of the show when the Detroit Lions talk about a quarterback and getting it. So really appreciate you coming on, and don't know when the drafts are going to be in the Motor City again, but we really appreciate you coming on with us.
I appreciate you guys having me, and I've enjoyed it. And I enjoy your show. You guys do a great job. I know it's a lot of work for you guys, and big fan. Been watching it for many years, and I'll continue. And again, thanks for having me on. I'll be around. Dallas picks 29th. I don't know if you'll be awake by then, but we're going to be on.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know what? Maybe if you're around, you got the stream there. Maybe we'll bring you on, get some expert analysis. Really appreciate it. Voices.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you, Chris.
Great job, Emmett.
Okay. All right. All that excitement. What do you got for me, Emmett?
So I have two things. It's not about football at all, but so many people are leaving. Like, this might even be down to like maybe 750 people. Like, it's been going on for a couple of minutes. So many people are leaving, and also I need sleep, but I'm not going to sleep right now because falling asleep on live TV is probably embarrassing.
So we've got the Packers pick. It is in. It looks like Adele's on stage now. I mean, Packers have a decent amount of needs here too. Defensive tackle, linebacker, offensive line, cornerback. And
it's Jordan Morgan.
And Joel, I want to make sure we get this right. Is this an OT or a DT?
It's an OT. It's an OT. I did my research.
Okay, Jordan Morgan. I thought he was a basketball player from Michigan, but that was several years ago here. Packers getting some help here on the offensive line. You got some statistics here on him or his size. What do we got here?
I didn't see him in any mock drafts going in the first round, Joel. So.
Do we have him? Do we have any role for him?
I actually have. Oh, is it defensive tackle? I don't think it is, but I actually had him going in the first round in my mock draft. So yeah, so some people did, but
okay,
not necessarily like the ESPN Plus and the NFL.com and the people you see on the Googles, as my math teacher likes to call it.
Googles. Okay. All right. We are moving along here at just after 11 o'clock here in the Motor City. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are up on the clock. They have re-signed Like, think his name.
Baker Mayfield to
Baker
a
Mayfield.
big,
Yeah.
Boo.
Big re-signing of Baker Mayfield. What are the needs for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? We still have on the board to protect Baker. I know he was doing a lot of scrambling, but it looks like we got the center of Oregon still on the board.
And isn't Graham Barton still on the board?
Graham Barton.
Graham Barton's still on the board.
Yep.
If any person like working for an NFL team, you need to take Graham Barton. I am telling you, like, it's a steal. I had him in my mock draft going way earlier, as you heard me say. I forgot what team it was, but
Jackson Powers Johnson here. He's on the lot. He is still on the board. Starting to get that more, we got all the quarterbacks, a lot of have we had any wide receivers really fall? We had the two from LSU go.
Brian Thomas Jr. to the Jags and Malik Neighbors to the Giants.
Yep. I'm just trying to think if we've had anyone that was projected to go a lot higher fall, but the Buccaneers want to protect Baker Mayfield. They re-signed Mike Evans too. They paid up to sign Mike Evans. So all indications here that they want to bolster that interior line. So that's what looks on the clock here with the 26th pick. The pick is in for the Buccaneers. We are rolling along here in the Motor City. As Emmett mentioned, the lodge is filling up here. The Detroit crowd got their pick. Brad Holmes saying, hey, we might not even do a first-round pick. No can do. They get that cornerback they needed, shore up that defense. We all know that we got the offense, but a lot of changes in that NFC North, Chris. It's going to be one tough division next year.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Richard Judge, I'm looking at your comment here, and it says, Giants got the best receiver. I also agree that Malik Neighbors was the best receiver in the class, which you're probably everybody in the comments going to say, no, Marvin Harrison Jr. is better, but no, he's not really.
I don't know. I mean, at one point, Marvin Harrison Jr. Was projected to go number one.
Yeah.
True.
In the draft.
I did see him, it was like a top 300 or something, and it had Marvin Harrison Jr. at the top, but I also did see, and somebody, I think it was somebody's top 5 receivers. They had, I think I said this earlier, they had Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. before Marvin Harrison Jr. on that top 5.
Okay. All right here. We are still running through another commercial here. I want to also give a big shout out to Zunaid here. He flew up from Atlanta to help put all this together for us. So thank you, Zunaid. Great listen on Benzinga as well. So thanks for him for running the boards here. I believe we got Aaron Thomas out of here. He is my number 1 draft choice for
he is the MVP, Joel.
Yeah, of the IT. Also, Chris, we lost Ryan Faluna here, Aaron Bree. We are sticking it out.
Yeah,
here.
We got a bare bones staff here now.
Bare bones staff here in the world headquarters of Benzinga. But we are going to stick it out with you guys. We want to get through this draft and see what happens. A lot of the excitement is now gone with the Detroit Lions, talking a lot about getting their cornerback. They did get it, Terrion Arnold from Alabama. Good size, good speed, good suit. So here he is. But back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Big surprise in the NFC South, losing Tom Brady, correct, and retiring. But Baker Mayfield stepping up to the plate, getting them to the playoffs. Besides getting some offensive help, I thought their defense was pretty good as well. Do you see any defensive needs for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah, I think edge, cornerback, and linebacker still needs for Tampa Bay. I mean, we've still got lots of great defensive players on the board. And Joel, I mean, Tampa Bay last year, offense was 20th for points for, and they were 7th on their defense for points against, and going 9-8 and earning that playoff spot. So, I mean, adding a decent weapon here. I mean, really, like you said, they re-signed Baker Mayfield, they re-signed Mike Evans. I mean, Tampa Bay, they've got some weapons.
Hope springs eternal, huh? I mean, it just seems like this draft. I'm afraid of absolutely every team. It's just like you see these players, Roger Goodell stepping up to the podium here in the Motor City. The pick is in. We'll see if we can get a clip here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers with their first round selection.
There's Graham Barton. There you go, Emmett. Graham Barton.
Also, right now I'm going to go grab my notebook. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. There is Emmett taking a little break here as we are moving quickly here through the first round. We're going to cue it up here. Get a look at Graham Barton from Duke. He's a center. Here we go. There we go. Let's see him mowing people down, protecting that quarterback there. Look at him snapping the ball. I believe that's against Alabama. Clearing out runners there, making a block clear to the outside. Big size, must be a pretty good student too, right? Being at Duke University. So, I mean, it seemed like Baker was always always scrambling, and having to get out of trouble. They played very well against the Lions, right? In that playoff game, they did beat the Los Angeles Rams to get there. So, man, everyone looks like a Super Bowl contender here. Would you agree, Chris?
I would agree. And I mean, Joel, now we got the Cardinals on the clock, and another one of those teams that had 2 first-round picks. So, I mean,
I need a little help here.
Okay. We will. No, Aaron Thomas did not go home. Aaron Thomas still in the house here, helping us out with our technical. The Cardinals, they're with the pick. The Arizona Cardinals are coming in. The Cardinals fans sticking around. They're looking. They're coming out of the war room here. Kyler Murray. I mean, do you draft? You take a quarterback that's 5'9"? I just don't get that. But here,
all right, here we go.
Here we go. The pick for the Arizona Cardinals is
Darius Robinson. Okay.
We got an edge going off the board. Edge was one of their biggest needs. So
true. Edge and wide receiver.
Yeah. So getting two of those done in the first round.
Okay, let me see if I got any statistics on him. Do we have where we go? Look at Zunaid rolling. What a beast there. Look at that. Zunaid right on top of things. Bring us that highlight. Let me see if I had him in my notes. I know AB, wish he was here. I know that he was a big fan of Mizzou. He was a Mizzou graduate. They had a decent year. I know they played Ohio State in their bowl game. Let's see if we have any statistics on him. And Darius Robinson. Nope, defensive end from Missouri, playing in the SEC. You got some information on him?
I actually have a top 300 from theathletic.com. I'm going to try to find him right here. He's in.
And I just want you to know here that Chris and Emma here, these guys are old school. These guys use a notebook. Goodbye to Aaron Thomas, folks. You guys can't see. Unbelievable job from him. And, of course, Luke Jacoby, who's here, the president of Benzinga, the man behind this operation. Luke, did you get out there for the Lions pick? Yes, he did. Luke absolutely runs this place, keeps things going. Give us all right, he's going to sit in for Chris here. Get the reaction. Luke Jacoby, president of Benzinga. Hey, Luke, how you doing?
I made it. I was sitting up here. I said at pick 27, I'm going to go down so I can see the Lions pick. I've waited for 3 hours. As soon as I sat down, put the headset on, I see Lions trade up. They're on the clock. I had to run about 300 yards from this desk to be in the theater and made it by less than 10 seconds.
And what was the crowd reaction?
Crazy. Nuts. Absolutely ballistic.
Yeah.
Everybody is pumped. and then they do the player interview on stage, and he said, "Detroit, you have a star with me," and the crowd erupted.
Okay. All right. Well, the Motor City, Brad Holmes, once again, saying, being coy, and he has built this team through the draft, been very, very prudent with his draft picks, what he's done, way he's built this team. A big shout out to Brad Holmes with the trades. He was at LA, part instrumental in that Stafford trade, correct? He was the GM there. We get our quarterback. We got to sign Jared Goff. We're hearing they're a little bit off on their numbers, but they did re-sign Penny Sewell. They did re-sign Amon-Ra St. Brown. So all indications, things are looking up. We got the Buffalo Bills on the clock. Never had a more disappointing team in the NFL.
Trade alert.
Trade alert. Oh, trade alert here. Trade pick.
But also Darius Robertson is 35 on here.
KC.
Kansas City moving up.
Case, my friend Case, he's a big Chiefs fan. Case, if you're watching this, they tried to get Xavier Worthy. I just know it.
No. Well, I know that
the pick is in. The pick is in already.
They're going for I think they're going for a wide receiver. That, you know what? Xavier Worthy, he almost went to Michigan. He didn't go to Michigan. He ended up going to Texas. He had a great career. This guy,
40-yard dash record. 40-yard dash record.
He did. He set the 40-yard dash record. He beat mine at the NFL Combine. I was 4.33. He went 4.299. He's fast, but he's only 170 pounds soaking wet. I don't know. There is a wide receiver on the board from Florida State. Let's bring in Jacob Shipley here. Jacob Shipley from Benzinga. Jacob, what do you think of this move?
I was not expecting it, to be honest. I'm pretty. I mean, we actually chatted a little bit beforehand about being pretty surprised that the Chiefs would move up. Yeah, it caught me by surprise.
Okay, so what do you think they're going to do with this pick?
I mean, we got to go receiver, right? I mean, I think that's been a huge weakness for. I mean, it's hard to call it a weakness when you win back-to-back Super Bowls, but I think if you had to pick a spot where we got like a chink in the armor, I think it's definitely going to be a wide receiver. So which one? I mean, I feel like there were a couple people I was hoping we could snag. So not. I mean,
what about Florida State? Keon Coleman. He is a potent. What about him? A potential. So you're convinced to go a wide receiver here. They made the trade. I wonder what they had to trade. We'll soon get the details. Also, thank you for being on your toes here to pop on with us here as we are wearing down here in the Motor City. Jacob Shipley, he runs that. You see all those great social media posts from Benzinga. That's the man behind those social media posts. I bug him all the time. He's here. He's joining us live here on the draft. We are nearing the end of it. The world champ, the Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs. I just have a question for you. Do you go to Chiefs games?
I do. And I will say I'm not just a bandwagon Chiefs fan. I've been a Chiefs, grew up in Kansas City, so huge Chiefs fan all my life. The Chiefs did not win a single playoff game until I was a sophomore in college. So I sat through a lot of bad seasons to get to where we are now. So
Chris Wood is actually agreeing with me. He's saying Xavier Worthy fits the mold, and so he agrees with me. And I really do think it's going to be Xavier Worthy.
Okay, so we got Kansas
City. Kansas City and Miami. They know fast players.
Tyreek Hill, correct?
Yeah, yep. And the Dolphins also do have Raheem Mostert. And the Chiefs have Isaiah Pacheco, not really as fast as them, but still.
Okay.
Jacob, what if the Chiefs don't take a receiver here and then it ends up that they traded up for something different here? Would you be disappointed as a fan or no?
I mean, again, it's hard to be really disappointed when, given the last few years, it's hard to really it's hard to throw fits. But yeah, I mean, I think like when Tyreek left, that was a that was a huge hole, right? Travis Kelce's been great at playing it, but Travis Kelce's also not going to be in the league forever. And so I think that's in my head. I mean, granted, I'm hoping they know more than me, but we'll see.
What about a corner? You lose the Jarius Sneed. He wanted the big money. You didn't franchise him. You basically gave him away for nothing there. You signed your defensive linemen. I mean, the Kansas City defense is good. Do you think that there's do you think they'll go after McKinstry? I mean, if I had a draft pick, I would take him just based on his name. But do you think they're going to you think they're going to try and go to the cornerback route here? Corner.
I mean,
go to corner if they don't go wide receiver.
I think there'll be enough good corners left in later rounds that it just in my head, you go with your top need first. So yeah, I mean, if it was me calling it in, yeah, I'm calling in a receiver.
Okay, there's you want to recap the what did they get? Was there anything?
Yeah, so it looked like it was just a swap of like a 3rd and 4th round pick. So I mean, really, they didn't give up a lot here, Jacob. So I mean, again, it's hard to feel sorry for the Chiefs here, but I don't think they gave up very much to move up. So, and we'll see what the pick is here. But I'm a little surprised Buffalo moving back, needing a wide receiver, losing Diggs and losing Davis, and now here you are maybe letting Kansas City take a receiver instead.
But they're about to say it, so let's listen.
I think they're going to give an award out here first,
Okay.
but before they do that, they're trying to stretch out the broadcast here. Jacob, besides the Chiefs, you a Royals fan, other allegiances, or do you spread your love around in the sporting world?
Yeah, so grew up Chiefs fan, grew up a big Royals fan. Same kind of story. No good until I was in college. Then we had a couple really good years, and then we've found our spot back at the bottom. And then I went to Mizzou, so giant Mizzou.
Another Mizzou graduate here. Okay, when did you graduate Mizzou?
2017.
2017. Okay, a little bit younger than my niece that went there. I just have to say one of my favorite sports clips ever comes from the Kansas City Royals. And this, I think, it's going back in the 70s. I believe it was in the 70s. Do you remember the Pine Tar incident?
I do. Yeah, George Brett. Yeah, crazy.
Yep, George Brett went absolutely. Do you remember that, Chris? Do you remember that? Is it
running out of the dugout?
Me and Chris Wood got it right. I knew it.
Jacob, instant reaction. Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think, I think, like I said, I think it's that was looking at like the biggest hole. I think, that makes the most sense. I don't know if you can ever replace Tyreek Hill. I think he's definitely kind of one of a kind, same kind of league as Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, I think finding somebody to hopefully try and fill those shoes, I think is definitely the right move.
Z, do we have? I threw a clip in of Xavier Worthy. Let's see the wheels here. Xavier Worthy going to the Kansas City Chiefs off a trade. Look at the wheels on this guy, folks. And the hands over the head catch. I don't know if we have anything showing his wheels here. Almost got to that semifinal game, but we got a couple deep throws. Look at him bringing it in. So the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's 2 Super Bowls in a row, right? That you guys
now
won.
They're going to get 3. Now they're going to get 3. First
time for a 3-peat. I'm in.
Yeah, they need to, because now that they have a legendary receiver, future Hall of Famer receiver. I know I'm going to jinx it, but who cares? Maybe he's the next Kadarius Toney, which I would hate. but Kadarius Toney's decent. But I think that he will be like the next Tyreek Hill. So I think it will be really good for them.
Okay.
Yeah, Jacob, it must be tough giving Patrick Mahomes the 40-yard combine record holder. I mean, I can only imagine what's about to happen
true, yeah.
when these defenses have to find him and Kelce and all these other weapons on the field. So, Jacob, thanks for joining us. I know we got the Cowboys coming up next, so we got Chris back in the house.
Let's go back to our draft expert here. I think of all. Let's go to Chris Wood here.
Thanks, Jacob.
Yeah, coming
Awesome to see
back with the save here. Chris, man, you did your homework. You called the Cowboys trade. Then you said, what made you think they were going to go after Xavier Worthy?
It just fits. He fits the Patrick Mahomes mold. I mean, you lose Hill. I mean, you can tell the difference, even though they've won Super Bowls without him. That speed is, you just can't. You can't coach speed, right? That's what they always tell you. So, can't coach speed. Now the hands are always been the question with all the receivers for Kansas City, and I think they've tried to shortcut that, and I think it bit them this year, and they just overwhelmed. They're actually defense. I think actually won it for them this year more than anything. So,
okay,
Cowboys are going Guyton right here, guys. It's Guyton.
Okay,
so.
You're making another call here. This guy.
Yeah, I think it's Tyler Guyton because it was between Barton and Guyton. Barton's gone, so.
Man, this guy is convicted. This guy trades with conviction. He files his team with conviction.
Well,
we have the. Well, I don't know about your trading, but we have in the Motor City. We got many Cowboy fans here. They're on their feet. Roger Goodell coming to the podium. I mean, I mean, do we even need to guess here what the Dallas Cowboys do? America's team.
Possibly quorum. Possibly quorum.
Do you know why they used to have a hole in Texas Stadium?
So God could see his team play.
It's Guyton.
Chris, you got Guyton, and I mean, how about that? Like you called it, and you also said you trade back, and you still got one of your two guys. So I think that's worth it.
And you predicted Xavier Worthy like me.
Yeah, those were the one I missed. Well, we already talked about it. Atlanta. That one blew me away. But I did pretty good. Now, I mean, I studied up. I didn't just blindly walk into this. But no, I'm a huge NFL fan, so I do pay attention to this stuff. But now, like I said earlier, I think second and third round is where you really win. This is where the draft is.
So, I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody watching because this is an amazing experience. It's just.
You've done great. You've done great.
Good knowledge. He knows his stuff. So
I only had 3 days to learn. Learn about college.
Speed learner here.
Yeah.
Be on a stream. So.
All right. Hey, Chris, you're hot. And when you're hot, you're hot. Baltimore Ravens on the clock here. Disappointing end to their season. Lamar Jackson. He needs some help here. Injuries at running back. I don't think we're going to get a running back taken in the first round. Baltimore Ravens, Jordan Morgan on one of my projected drafts. He's already gone. Any projections here for the Ravens? The pick is in, but what does Chris Wood have to say for us?
I think if anybody's going to pick a running back, it would be Baltimore. I think they're going Wiggins because the cornerback for Clemson is still out there, and he's just too talented. I'm surprised he didn't go earlier. So I would guess Wiggins over. But I mean, if anybody was going to go running back in the first round, at the end of the first round for the most part, or getting close, it's Baltimore. But.
Yeah, I think Wiggins or Kool-Aid here.
Yeah, I am really surprised that they have not been picked yet. After how many cornerbacks has there been taken? 2 or 3? Because
I don't know.
2 or 3.
Cooper DeJean is still out there.
Cooper DeJean, yeah.
Cooper DeJean is still
I
out
just
there.
did my research on my top 300 paper from athletic.com. Xavier Worthy isn't exactly 50, so take that, theathletic.com. You thought he was going to be in the second round, but joke's on you.
Okay, what about if a running back is taken? Who do you think the first running back is going to be taken in the draft?
I think Brooks is the best overall running back.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, he's the most. Now, the knock on him is the injury he got in the middle of the season last year where he blew his knee out. So, are you willing to take the best running back in the draft and have him not available maybe at the start of the year? And that's always a question. So, but he's by far the best running back.
It seems with the new tech, just like the injuries, or like I had an ACL back in 1991, took me months and months to recover. It just seems like, well, also the professional athletes, it just seems that, the injuries, even the ACLs and stuff with the advances in medicine is not as a big a deal here. But we are going to the Ravens. The pick is up. Do we have the pick? The pick is in. It's supposed to be
They're about
early.
to say it. They're
About to
saying
say it, the Baltimore Ravens, coached by John Harbaugh, brother of Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
We all know him very well. What does Roger Goodell have to say for us?
But they aren't doing it just yet, and I just have to do a really big flashback moment. The Ravens and 49ers Super Bowl, that was brother on brother.
Correct. That was.
It was crazy.
And
Wasn't
the
Super
lights
Bowl.
went out. Yep, went out at the Superdome.
Yeah.
Yep, it changed the momentum of the game. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo dropping the ball there, and yeah, tough. That's why Jimmy's back. Jimmy's back with the Chargers. I'm surprised that Jimmy wasn't more active with the Chargers. I mean, they took that pick, and that's it. I don't know, where their other picks are. Maybe they're going to be stacking it up here in the second and third round. But a lot of interesting things here. We do have Roger Goodell going up to the podium to announce the pick here.
All right,
What do you
let's
got
see.
for us, Roger?
Nate Wiggins.
There you go.
There it is,
And
Chris.
also, we were just talking about that power going out. Was that also where Prince performed?
No, that was a different one.
Okay.
Because Purple Rain would make sense if it was Ravens and it was ringing.
Yeah, Purple Rain. You got it. All right. We're Chris. Thanks. Double duty for you. Do we have the clip on this one, Z? Do we have a
Yep,
clip?
we have a clip.
We're going to run the clip for Nate Wiggins here real quick. Here we are. Oh, nice pick. Pick
That
six.
is amazing.
That's a nice.
And he runs it for a touchdown, doesn't he?
Yep. There's
wow. And then look at the
Fantastic.
crowd cheering.
Okay. The crowd cheering. Nate Wiggins. Okay, Chris, we're going to let you go. Well, we have
guys are
Corey
great.
Fleck. Yeah, thanks again.
Thank you, Chris.
Incredible.
It's been a blast.
Okay. All right. We're going to bring in our next guest here, Corey Fleck. Corey is coming to us. Hey, Corey, how you doing today?
Hey, Joel. Nice to see you guys. Long draft, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's see here. That's only 20-12. It's only 20-10, or what? 20-9 for you?
Oh man, it's still early. We still have little Buster right here.
Oh yeah.
We're all bringing our kids to the set, aren't we?
Yeah, we got the kids. Mine were here earlier, but they're 31 and 28. So let's talk here. Let's talk about your San Francisco 49ers, okay? They pulled it out against my Detroit Lions here late in the season. They couldn't pull it out in the Super Bowl against KC here. They lose some players. They traded for they Chase Young. They lose guys on the defensive line. They're talking receiver. Where are the needs? Where are the wants? And more importantly, what is Corey Fleck thinking about here for the San Francisco 49ers?
Like you gotta like their offense though, right? Their offense is pretty stacked, and they didn't do anything with Ayuk here. They haven't traded him, so I like them looking defense, but I like them looking cornerback. That their pass defense was still okay, but compared to the rest of that team, that's how they lost those games in October. They gave up some big passing plays. So
Okay.
I think they look, there's a bunch of good quarterbacks out there that they can pick on the board. And I think all of them fit pretty nicely in there.
Okay, so Chris, maybe you can help me.
So we got DeJean and we got Kool-Aid McKinstry left.
Yeah.
Corey, do you have a preference or a different
like
name?
Kool-Aid,
that
just because of the name.
That's
That's
the
just more
Joel
fun to cheer
strategy.
for, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
the old 18.
Anybody coming from Alabama, though, you gotta like an Alabama player coming into, especially a system like the Niners that's run a bit tighter. I think they fit in pretty nicely.
Okay. Any other needs or wants for the San Francisco 49ers?
Well, if they want to do something at wide receiver, they're talking even now about trading Debo, right? So if they want to stack their team, if they want options there, they either trade Ayuk or Debo. And if they bring somebody else in there, let them run with it. I hope they don't trade Debo, but that's something I was reading earlier today too, that they're making comments that he could even be on the board.
Do you think they'll take a kicker?
Oh man. Who doesn't like a kicker in the first round? Why not?
What did they take Moody in the 3rd round last year?
3rd round, yeah.
I think
but
so.
They
Yeah.
will not take a kicker. Also, Ayuk almost went to the Jags, and I also have bad memories of the 49ers from the season.
Oh,
Oh,
fair.
the 49ers against the Jaguars.
Yeah, that was a blowout.
I cried after that.
So
Sorry.
another, just to let you guys know, Corey Fleck runs the Cortland Economic Report in Canada, and I come on his show on Fridays and discuss the markets, and he's kind enough to come on late with us. And you live in Canada, right? You live in where you live? Vancouver,
Yeah.
or you live in Vancouver?
Vancouver.
And you have
West
Seattle
Coast.
Seahawks tickets. And how in the heck are you a San Francisco 49ers fan?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Man, I grew up with Steve Young and Jerry Rice. I'm a lefty. I throw the ball left. Young for me was just like a dream come true. And that West Coast offense, they were a lot of fun back then. But yes, I do have season tickets to the Seahawks. We're sports fans. My wife loves going, so we go down. And I don't wear Niners stuff usually when I go down to the Seahawks game. They used to be pretty nasty down there. They've warmed up a little bit, but there's some bad stories of the Seahawks fans really hating on the opposing team.
Really? Do you play golf left too?
Yeah. Play golf
Wow,
left.
but-
I right-handed. It's kind of all over, but
Okay.
all
right. What do you think about have you been following the draft? The Seahawks, we covered them a little bit. My memories are fading here a little bit late at night. Who did the Seahawks take?
I don't even remember who the Seahawks.
I had the top 50. I have the top. Wait. Seahawks.
All right, so we won't ask you about the Seahawks.
I have the
pick.
top 15, but I don't have them in there because they were 16, and that's when I came up.
So the Seahawks are going to be in trouble this year. Like they have a brand new coach. They are a quarterback question marks.
Corey, you live in Vancouver. Are you a hockey fan as well?
Yeah. Oh, you bet. Playoff hockey too.
Does a Canadian team finally break the streak of no Stanley Cup?
Edmonton, hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully the Canucks, but I don't know.
It's been a long time.
Little shaky.
So, yeah.
Okay,
it would
we're
be great
winding
to see.
down here. Supposedly the pick is in for the San
right, let's see
Francisco
it.
49ers. We
Cornerback.
have,
Has to.
it's got to be see Kool-Aid. The knocks on
I'm
Kool-Aid.
guessing Kool-Aid.
You guessing
Think-
Kool-Aid?
yeah.
Roger looks a little tired there. Come on, Roger, get a little pep in your step. Kool-Aid did have some kind of weird injury in his foot. I heard about that a couple weeks ago, but that seems to be dropping. He's potentially dropping out of the first round. But with the 31st pick, the second to last pick here in this draft, in the Motors.
Oh, there's your wide receiver, and it looks like those fans are not happy. Corey.
See, they're going to do something. They're stacking up to make some move here.
Yeah, I think that means Ayuk. I don't know.
I want
Yeah.
Ayuk to go to the Jaguars.
Okay, Ricky
Ayuk.
Pearsall. Let's see here. I don't have him. Z.
I gotta look into this.
I had 45 players on my roll, and that wasn't
Ricky.
one of
Here we
them.
go.
But tell me, is that Buster that you're holding there?
This is Buster. Buster just fell asleep. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
All right,
this is
Corey.
Buster. See,
Oh,
he's the next Niners fan. I have a hat, but he didn't feel like wearing it, so now he's hanging out. See, he's
Okay.
doing pretty good right now.
Yeah, he is. Okay, Corey. Thank you so much. It's not late at night for you, but joining us on Benzinga's coverage here of the NFL draft here in the Motor City. We'll have to get you out here, and I'll be chatting with you at 12:30 Eastern time if I look at my calendar.
Tomorrow. Talk to you
Thanks,
guys.
Corey.
Have
Thank
fun.
you.
Okay, here we are, folks. A long night here, and Z, is that I'm looking at our viewers here on Twitter. Is that the number that I'm seeing there? Is that correct? That number that I'm seeing there?
Yeah, people love us on Twitter now.
That is absolutely amazing.
How many views?
Well, we have is that 2,700?
Almost 2,600 on
Almost
Twitter alone.
2,600 people.
I'm famous. I wonder if anybody from my school or like a teacher's
They're all
watching.
sleeping.
Yeah.
You know, they're sleeping.
But if anybody is that goes to my school, please comment.
Wait, did we got another trade, Joel?
We got another
So
trade.
Panthers!
Buffalo traded
Look, now
with
Panthers
Kansas
have
City.
2 in a row.
And Carolina didn't have a first round pick,
Yeah,
Joel,
they
because they
didn't.
lost number 1 to the Bears.
I told you that they were going to trade somewhere, and
So
They
Buffalo fault they lose 2 quality wide receivers.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. So
Keon Coleman's still on the board. Roman Wilson of Michigan is still on the board.
Carolina
Xavier
they need
Legette.
receivers.
Xavier
Blake
Legette.
Corum of Michigan is still on the board.
No,
Junior
running backs have
Colson
been
is
taken,
still on the
so-
board. 30. This is the last pick of the draft. And here
For
we
the
go. There
first
are the
day,
wide
first
receivers
day.
taken, folks.
Wow.
The
that
pick
a
is
lot.
in.
Pick's
My
in.
night
All
is
right.
almost over here. I got to get home and get ready for pre-market prep. Before we wrap things up here, Emmett doing some late night duty here. I hope Chris doesn't get in too much trouble when he gets
I
home.
hope he wasn't too much of a hassle up here on the stream, Joel.
No, he
People
kept
like
us.
me. People like me.
Yeah, 20. Just all you people. I know it's not Twitter. I know it's not X. We appreciate you guys following us here. Also, all the people on YouTube. I know you know us as market people, but we like to follow sports too. Also, in the Motor City, we want to showcase our city. Detroit on the rebound for several years. Beautiful Hudson building going up. I want to give a big shout out here as we're getting this last pick in here to Jason Raznick, Zunaid Suleman, Luke Jacoby, all the people here at Benzinga.
Aaron Thomas once
Aaron
again.
Thomas, who went home. He may not wake up until Monday.
He might not be here tomorrow.
Yeah. But the
Might be
pick is
sleeping.
in. The final pick here of the draft in the Motor City. Oh, we got to have a little bit more
Okay,
talk. You know why? You know why we're going to have more talk? Because I want to get another commercial.
Are we going to do this tomorrow? Because I really want to do this tomorrow.
No, this is
Why
just
not?
the first round.
Oh man, guys, comment if you want us to do this tomorrow, please.
Emmett, stop. Zunaid's gonna come up here and tell you no otherwise.
Zunaid cannot wait to get back to Atlanta. He was like, "You got me up here in the Motor City." So the Panthers received the 32nd pick. They only gave up a 6th round pick. The Bills, they get this the Bills.
So
what
the
are
Bills will pick first tomorrow because they get that 33rd pick to kick off the second round, Joel. So I mean, I think they've got to take a receiver. And what a way to kick off tomorrow.
Guys, Jason Raznick is actually commenting, please tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, Emmett, stop! Emmett, stop reading the chat.
Thank you to 13. He said this kid has a bright future. We need to do it tomorrow, Dad. Come on.
Raz, don't encourage Emmett.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Encourage me. Everybody else do it. Come on.
Next, he's gonna ask for you to hire him.
I don't think I could. I don't think I have enough knowledge to get to the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round, 5th round. But a lot of players, a lot of Michigan players still on the board. Tomorrow, Harbaugh will be picking. Here is the final pick here, live from the world headquarters of Benzinga, overlooking spacious, gorgeous, majestic campus Marcius Park. Also, big thank God to Bedrock and Rock Financial in this gorgeous building here in the Motor City. Things are coming to an end here, and what we projected, things could go to 1 in the morning, Z. Here we are. We are going to be finishing things up. The final pick in the NFL draft from the Motor City, Roger Goodell is going to serve it up to us. And Roger, what do you got? What are the Panthers? I don't even know what their needs are. Everything.
Another wide
A
receiver.
wide receiver.
I just said him.
Okay. Xavier Liggett.
Joel,
There you go.
I'm still dumbfounded though that Buffalo now has traded back and they've literally let Kansas City and Carolina take receivers when that's one of their biggest
I think they
positional
want.
needs.
I want Keon Coleman, but hey, folks, all you folks out there on X, YouTube, Twitch, everyone watching us. I know you have alternative ways to watch your coverage. Thanks for joining us. I hope we gave you some valuable input. We did our best. Emmett, he's a stud here. Chris Catchy filling in for the guys that left early, but we had a big day here at Benzinga. This is it for us today, folks. Hope you got some
Thanks
good
for
insight.
watching.
Yep. Thank you, Emmett, for having us. And, for your financial news, go to Benzinga, born in Detroit, informing the world, folks. We're here for you. We want to help you with your financials. We helped you with your sports a little bit, but that's it for tonight, folks. Talk to you in the morning.
Thank you, everyone.